Hey there, Outliers. Niiamah Ashong here. I am really excited for us to come and talk here. I'm going to bring in everything as we come online. Let's make sure we have a chance to do that. I'm actually going to just shift here a little bit and bring in. Yeah, there we go. So we are going to be playing right now in this space. I'm glad you're able to come and join us here. My name's Niiamah Ashong. Welcome to Inside the Outliers Edge. This is a thing I'm experimenting with as we're going through our 10K live game. And what I'm looking to do, I'll be honest, for me, I would love to get to a place where I kind of say like I hold nothing sacred in the sense that like there's I've gotten past all the fears of whether or not I want to look good, if it's going to be polished or any of those things, and instead I just keep showing up for you and for myself, honestly, to keep knowing like how big this game could be, like what is actually possible, and who do I get to be on the other side of having to do things like anyone else is doing, and instead allowing myself to build things and do things in a way that works for me. I don't care if you see it. I mean, I do in the sense that, like, one, I want you to watch it. That would be great. But the other side of it is that how do I say it? I don't think it's fair for me to say I don't care overall. There's a part of me that does, and I think that part of me is what I'm actually trying to grow beyond, and to see how do I do this not from a place of showboating or being the center of attention, which I'm good at. I'm good at that, but instead, like, how can I take who I am and how I show up in the world and let that be not just enough, but be the service, be the co-creation, be the product, and that's something that I want to do. And I I sent Veronica. Veronica's awesome. I sent her a message about a half hour ago. I was like, "Hey, can you talk by any chance? Because something just came online." And so Veronica's like, "Yep." And I was like, "All right, just send me the Zoom link." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Here goes the Zoom link." And like, I might want to take this live. And she was game. She was game. So what I want to do is bring Veronica on more fully here. Veronica, thank you very much for coming to play here. Let's give Outliers, like, literally no one might ever watch this, right? But just in case they do, I want to make sure that like people know who you are. And I don't think that's even fair because people may not watch this in the short term, is what I would say. But like like my real thing is that I want to document all the stuff. Like, I know how big we're gonna grow. I know how large this movement can be at a minimum. Like, I don't know how big it's gonna get overall because I can't think exponentially, but I get it, And I would love to be able to document along the path, like all the stuff. To be able to look at someone and say, like, oh yeah, no, I get it. You should go back and watch the first thing I did. It's called like Inside the Outliers Edge with Veronica. Like, go check that one out because we were just making it up. I was in my hoodie and all that stuff. Like, I got food on my shirt. I was just like, let's still go. you know. Um, so Veronica, like, you, I'll share who you've been to me, and then I'll let you introduce yourself specifically. Um,
Okay.
but you're someone who like you are an outlier to me in like the realest of ways. Like, I was living my life and you reached out to me, right? And one of the gifts you gave me from even just to reach out, it just reminded me of when I show up in the world, even when I'm not intending upon it, like, good things happen, and I'm leaving the seeds for something fresh to come through. Like, you responded to a post I had put out, a job posting I had put out weeks ago, and in my mind, that job was done. Like, we were complete, and you found me, you researched, and you sent me a message, and gave me a chance to come in and really experience and be like, oh, I thought that I was there for one reason, and I thought I had completed it. But when we go out in the world and we do things, then we get results that may come back that are even beyond what we had expected. And
Yeah.
I think, Veronica, what I get about you is that you're an outlier who chooses to create your future. You didn't wait to see, you didn't go through the traditional paths. You reached out, you immediately got on my calendar, and I was like, oh, am I like, are we having a coaching session? Did she come through the podcast? Is there some kind of legacy link that I left out here? But you were like, hey, look, I found you. I found a way onto your calendar. And so I took it. And now we're having this conversation. You're working together like Outliers. This is our Outliers Edge producer here, you know? And so we're getting a chance to sit through. You're going to be watching here in real time. This is an internal call. But I'm now trying to say, like, why do I need to have internal versus external? Like, what if people can just come in and be with me as I'm creating this next level of the movement, but honestly, of myself, right? Because this is the game that we play. You're going to see that, like, this is the game we're going to play, and I'm going to do my best to make how I feel on the inside visible for those on the outside, so we can compare in that kind of way, so we can grow and be on the same page from there. So Veronica, I think very highly of you. I'm really excited. We have no clue where it's going to go. Veronica just knew. I'm just like, hey, can you get on a call with me in 30 minutes? I had a big breakthrough. I don't even know if I told you I had a big breakthrough. I was just like, can you talk? And next we're live. So, Veronica, would you mind letting Outliers know more about you? Thank you for being who you are. I'm we're going to be able to play today.
Thank you. Firstly, good evening or good morning or good afternoon, whoever's watching and wherever you're watching from. Firstly, thank you so much for having me on here. I think it's says a lot that you felt comfortable enough to have me live. So thank you for that. And yeah, so you want me to introduce myself basically?
Yeah, I think so. And as I'm doing this here, Outliers, I want to ask yourself, like, it's like actually, I felt comfortable enough to have you on live. I'm over here, like, I'm glad that you're comfortable being on live. Like, I'm doing 10,000 minutes. Like, this is nothing for me. I could easily go and do this. This is not me being
Yeah,
courageous, y'all. This is not me being courageous. My ask of you, for any of you that's watching this here, like if you got the call, if someone came and said, hey, I have an opportunity for you. Hey, do you want to go play in a way that's different? Hey, like, are you already ready? Because that's one of the things I want you to get about Veronica. She was already ready. This was not on her calendars. It wasn't like she was making this come in here, but she was already ready, even with a background that, like, it looks awesome, like, So, so Veronica, like what I'll say is, like, let Outliers know the game that you play, right? Let
yeah.
Outliers know the game that you play, and then we'll put them in the back burner, and you and I will have the conversation we set out to have.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'll just point out is I've recently just learned that sometimes you don't know where things are going. So even me being courageous here, I think it's me saying I've tried having a plan. And to be honest, I think I don't know exactly where I'm going to or exactly how I'll get there. So it's just learning to say yes when something feels intuitively right. So even going back to our initial interaction, I saw your job posting. It looked like it was showing on the site that you were already interviewing people, but I was like, you know what? Like I'm feeling an alignment here, and I don't know where this is going to go. But what I can say is true for me right now is that what you're saying speaks to me. So let me give you the opportunity to say whether or not that works for you. So that's basically where that came from. If I were to say, oh, you
I'm
look
gonna,
like
yeah.
you're
Every once in a while, I'm gonna pause. I didn't know how I'm gonna do this, but I want to pause through because I want Outliers to get something through this here, right? So one of the things Veronica didn't take herself out of the game. That post that she saw was there for weeks, but she didn't take herself out of the game, and so she showed up. Like, where out there are you taking yourself out of the game when the game is still on?
yeah,
Or and Veronica. So that's one thing I get about you. And the second thing I hear is that, like, there was something in my posting that wasn't just like wrote, like, hey, we're going to be doing XYZ. I need someone to go fill out these tasks. There was something
right,
in what I wrote, and I don't need you to go and, like, tap into that specifically. If you know what it was, you can say it. But there was something in there that had you. I think you actually just jumped off the stream, so I'll bring Veronica back on when her connection comes back in. But there was something there that had her go out and say, wow, there's something special about this. There's something that is connecting to me. Y'all, I don't write copy. Like, I'm not like I write. There are things that get written, but it's like I'm not a copywriter, right? And so one of the things that ends up happening is that, like, I'll oftentimes start writing something, give it to talk it out loud, give it to Chat GPT, and then Veronica's back here. Here we go, Veronica. Welcome back. But
sorry
like I
about
was
that.
saying, like, I'm not a copywriter. Like, I'll say things. I'll talk it into I use Otter to get a transcript. I'll put it in Chat GPT. I'll be like, Chat GPT, make this into a post, and then we'll go back and forth and back and forth. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me just make a quick loom, and I'll, like, record myself and be like, this is who I am. This is what I think you need to know from the text. Like, it's not how I think, it's not how I talk, but it's what needs to get done. But if you're down, here goes where it is. I don't know if you even watched that message there, but I want to share with Outliers, like, like I put the thing out in the world in a way that was aligned with me, and I
Yeah.
spoke a little bit of that truth. I don't know what called you in, but something about that drew you in, and now we're having this conversation. So I want to make
Yeah.
sure, like as we talk, I might pull out things and be like, oh, this is some of the outlier that's here, and I'll be giving you all a chance to reflect for yourself and see how are you showing up. How are you showing? How are you leaning into your outliers such that you can create every opportunity you want? Because that's the game that we're playing. It's all about the possibility that's there. You created this possibility. All right, Veronica, you said like two sentences. I got it. I'll do
That's
that throughout. I'll do that throughout because I want to just keep like pointing things out as it goes along.
right.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. Definitely, I think two things stood out to me. The first one being I'm a very values based person, and similar to you, I think I also give my all. I don't like holding back, and I find that when I share values with people, it's easier to give my everything than to be calculating everything. Mind you're playing chess, and I don't like being in such a space. So I feel very comfortable when I already share values with someone. The second thing being alignment, which is what you're saying. I wasn't like, okay, how do I pitch correctly? I was like, this is what I'm thinking. This is how I'm seeing it, connecting with what you're saying. And I will offer that to you. So those are the two things. That being said, my professional background, I'm in video production. So I provide pre and post production services. Aside from that, I'm also a musician, but that's not my main career line right now. So those are the, yeah, two things that I do.
Awesome. Like so now you tell us like what you do. Tell us about who you are because I feel like that's at the core. It could be who you are. What I think it's gonna be fun is like what makes you produce? What is it about you that says like, oh, out of all the things that I can do, like I choose to produce? Like, because I hear music as like just another form of production for you, or maybe it's the other
Right.
way around. Maybe production just another form of music for you. But like, help us see a little bit of that.
Producing in video production, right?
Yeah, I mean, like just yeah, I like help us see like what's the core thing that you
Yeah.
keep doing that is showing
Yeah.
up. Like I'm hearing different manifestations of it, but it feels like at the core, there's something about you that's uniquely coming out.
One, people. Two, storytelling, which comes both in video and in music, and I think that's why I enjoy them so much. It's telling stories, and as someone who watched TV a lot as a kid, like I watched a lot of TV, and I think what I enjoyed about it was what I learned about life. So I would tend to lean more towards reality or docu style things, or just anything where I felt like I could learn about life and how life works. And I think that's what gave me an appreciation of stories, is you in a way are shaping how someone sees the world. So I would say those two things have really stick out to me. Then I think secondly, thirdly, I would say also just getting to push my mind outside of reality. I think the unique thing about film and music, and I remember seeing a quote, is film is a reflection of society, but it also shapes society. So sometimes it's responding to what we're seeing. In other words, this is what's happening in the world. Therefore, I'll create a film or a video or music that represents that. Or you could say, I want to create an escape from the world. So I'm going to create what I do want to see. And I think those are the artists that I tend to like, the ones that sing about a reality that maybe doesn't feel accessible, but it feels so good you want it to be real. Yeah, so that's basically what draws me towards those two fields.
All right, I love this here. We're gonna be playing. Like this is cool. So like Veronica reached out to me. She's like, "Look, I do production." She does a lot of like in studio like big things. I'm like, "Hey, look, this is how I'm going about it. You let me know if this will work for you." But this is the game that I'm currently playing. And you know, thankfully she was down to come and play with us. So like what I want to do here is I want to spend some time talking to Veronica about like where things have gone recently, like some of the revelations that have been coming through, and then playing from that place to like actually just do the work. So y'all are gonna get like a behind the scenes component of it all. We have chat on here, so we'd love to have you come and put in any of your comments along the way. I love to. I want to interact. I want to see what you're thinking of. So sometimes I'll ask you directly, like questions directly, and you can like type in something longer. Sometimes I might just be like, hey, look, if you're feeling this, like just like put a one in the chat, like help me know. We see all the responses that come in here. So there's a reason why we've chosen to go live. I think both of us like one like what would happen if we did. But the other part of it is that it allows for us to have an experience where we get to co-create something larger than what we would just do in the conversation, you know. And it's cool, like this time around, like Veronica, we're setting things up and it's taking 15 minutes for us to get in and be like, okay, what is the flow? Hey, this is who we are, this is why we're doing it. But like this could just happen going forward. We could be like, we're gonna have our team call, let's just go live, you know. I'm like, well, I'm already live, come join me, you know. um so Veronica, if you're cool with it, I'd like to give you a little bit of like how did we get here in terms of like what was going on, right? So I was giving you a little bit of this background beforehand. I'll make sure everyone else knows too. I had been for the last about 2 years here, 18 months, about 2 years. I had been getting people into my world and growing my business and my impact through my podcast. And so what I was doing is I was using cold email to reach out to people who didn't know me and invite them to come be a part of the Outliers as podcast. First, we started out one on one, and then we moved over into I would host panels with somewhere between anywhere between 2 and 6 people on each panel. Right. And I got to the place where I was doing about 5 panels a day, 3 days a week, you know, meaning about 100 people through it. Right. Um, what and that ended up being I was meeting so many people, but I didn't have the right infrastructure to kind of hold all the people I was meeting, you know. And I've experimented with a number of different things, and just when I thought I figured things out, I changed my email campaign to be a little bit more like straightforward, and Google like did not like that. And I had 17, I had 54 email inboxes, so 54 different like names across 17 different domains, and all of them got shut down. And so that happened about a month ago. And then today, like that, actually exactly a month ago, November 2nd, 2025. So I come in today, a month later, and I'm like, okay, we got the new inboxes up. It's time to go out and start sending things out to people. And that that was you have to wait like 30 days before you can actually send things out. At least that's my practice. So during that time, during this last month, I realized like, okay, the I have learned things from the podcast invites. It's worked, but it hasn't been working like as much as I wanted it to. For the amount of hours I'm putting in, for like the efforts I'm putting in, like it's not giving me exactly what it is that I want. I thought to myself, part of that is because um, I'm out there platforming other people, but I'm not really platforming myself. We kind of get like maybe my essence in a bit, you know, but like
Mhm.
I'm running the same play over and over again, and it's like with 5 different people in there, and I'm like, how can I make Veronica awesome? Or like, but I'm still gonna ask you like similar how I just like I paused a little bit earlier and we unpacked some things. Like that's what I do. I'm like I reflect, I unpack, and I see people from a different light. And so every guest that comes onto my podcast was also they weren't getting a coaching experience from me, but they were getting a reflection back of who they were to me, and that ended up being really valuable. And then some of them would want to continue on and get like slow down with me into like a coaching conversation, or we would be able to see their business from a different light or whatever it is, right? So
Awesome.
I was running into this issue though because I know how to make like yeah, this is not hard for me. I can make content, I can talk all day long, but like I run a business and I want and it's not even that I run a business, it's that the impact that I'm here to make, like I choose to call it a movement, not a community, not a group, not a like because there's like it's supposed to be larger than me, you know, not
Mhm.
just separate from me, but larger than me. And there was something in what I was finding that the podcast was getting me like I was meeting new people, things like that.
Mhm.
It didn't really seem to be hitting the impact side of things because I wasn't like putting my uniqueness out there in a like in a certain way. I don't know how to describe it. Like the pod panels were different, you know, but it wasn't like so different. Anyway, the what ended up happening is I came on the live stream. I started the 10K live challenge. Sorry, not challenge. I won't always want to say challenge because that's what it feels like it should be, but it's actually a game. Like I'm playing the game to be like, hey, I wonder if I can get to 10,000 minutes in before the end of the year. And so what's ended up happening with that is that I've loved it. It's helped stretch me out. Like we would not have had this conversation live if I wasn't playing the 10K live game. If I was just
Mm.
saying I need to go live once a week or something like that, like then we'd be fine. Like I wouldn't be doing this. But now I have 10,000 minutes. My brain's like I had to break very quickly. Like what's allowable, because I'm like I can't do 10,000 minutes of curated like pre-researched work when I just decided this on a whim last week. You know, and so that's helping me break down a lot of walls and forcing me to show up more unprepared. I like the last 2 years, I've been like, no, I need to be serious. I have a mortgage, I have two kids, and I have a business that needs to get out there. I need to know what's going on and make sure everything works. And it
Mm.
took me out of this kind of spontaneity. Right? I was present, but not spontaneous. I was like, does it fit the box that I've created of podcast like flow? And if it doesn't fit that fit, then I'm out. But the challenge I was having with it was that not only did I choose to do the things live stream, I convinced myself it was going to be possible for me to do live stream because I could just take my podcast that I was doing on like, pre-recorded and just record it live.
Mm.
And I was like, all right, great. I'll just do that. That's great. Then I can have multiple bites of the apple. But then once I started going live and the 10K live came on and all that stuff there, I started making other types of content. I'm like, should I really be going this? And my emails were also still down, right? Coming back today. And then we started talking. And then you showed me as a producer that like, well, maybe we could do something bigger than just like doing the same old podcast. I was like, oh, what's my Saturday Night Live of what I'm trying to get done?
Right.
So last thing here is that then the third component came in. Is like also during this, I realized that up until with the podcast, I was meeting people and just having one-on-one, like I was meeting them in groups for the podcast conversation, but having one-on-one coaching conversations, and some of them were becoming clients. But not all of them were actually like in a position where they can go and work with me. It's not, it's expensive to work with me. Like you have to make a commitment of many different like times, from courage to money to time, all that stuff, right? Like I'm not here, I'm playful, but I don't play, you know? And so I wanted to make sure we had a way to bring outliers into my world to get their support without me having to be like, now you have to go and pay X amount, like, like a 5-figure amount to come and stay in the world. Like I wanted something different. And so we created we had the space of the Outliers Edge movement, but it became like, oh, it's now time to really use a school space, like very intentionally. But with
Mm-hmm.
that, like, this is still like the business and the growth and all that stuff is coming in there. So like there became like a new client journey through that. It became like a member journey. It's a member space, but each member is going to continue growing and working with me in different capacities, right? They can end up working me one-on-one again. And so now I have this thing where I've been stuck trying to figure out, okay, now I can do these live streams. I can do all this stuff here, but how does this work? How does this work from the business standpoint? What does this work from the client journey? I know I can come and talk live on here, but is anyone like, just because I'm going live doesn't mean anyone's watching it. It's so like, do I have to set up the repurposing afterwards or to get content out there? And I couldn't figure out the math behind it, I mean, and the math behind it for me is like what the business actually is, or what the client creation game is. The client creation game is, oh, I meet someone, I meet 100 people, like this percent go and say yes to the next offer, and this percent say yes to come, like actually show up, and then this percent actually get a percent, like get a proposal, and for every 100 people I get 2 people who end up becoming clients. Like to me, that's the game. And then along the way, I'm like, oh, where am I getting points? Oh, I'm really low on this thing, and this part needs to come up, rather than it's not working, which is how I used to think about it. It's like, no, it's working. It was just what part isn't working. Let me check in with you, Veronica. I've been saying a lot right now, giving you a lot of context. How are you doing with what I'm saying so far? Is this making sense? Do you have any questions? Do I need to pause or anything?
No, I'm tracking with you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So we have the podcast, the email outreach, which was shut off until today. We have the coming live and the 10K live game, which is getting me to show up in different ways, but also like I have to put in the minutes, when I could be doing something else. And then I have the school element. Like to say like the movement component of it, which is the membership. Right. And like, it has the free membership, and then there's a monthly amount, or an annual amount. And I'm like, how do I set all those things up? I finally feel like I had it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And well, actually, that's not true. I was going back and forth with ChatGPT and recognized that I couldn't figure out. I was like, is it that I go back and put all my energy into the podcast? Because I know that if I do one thing all in, it'll be successful. I couldn't figure
Mhm.
out which one I wanted to go in with. So it's like I put all my energy into podcast, I put all my energy into the live stream, and eventually it finally came clear to me. I spend for like 3 hours a day on the podcast thing. I still reach out to people. I still host my panels. I do what was already working and live, like the thing that I actually said I was going to do. The reason I said I was going to do that, I do
Mhm.
that for 3 hours from 1 to 4 every day, and I just have that done. And then I have the rest of the day, like I say, like another 3 to 4 hours where I'm building out the movement, meeting up with clients, and also having like individual like client sessions. Like prospective client sessions where I'm serving in that perspective, right? And then making that's basically let me put another having enrollment calls and having coaching calls on top of that, right? And some of that could be live as well, all right? But I'm like, okay, like that was where I got to. And I was really happy because I was like, got you. 3 hours in the afternoon, and my first 4 hours, I'm just gonna like get the stuff done
Mhm.
and move the ball forward. And then this afternoon happened. I was like, I'm ready to move this forward. And I go into my emails to go bring back the cold emails that are finally like warmed up. I went from having 54 inboxes and 17 domains to 90 inboxes and 30 domains. And so I'm coming in, I'm like, I got these 90 ready to go. I am playing like it is game on. And I saw that the game was completely off because like it turns out that all the things that were getting warmed across all 90, it like all the emails, basically all the emails that were being sent to warm up the cold email flow were hidden in the spam. And as a result, like I was basically in the same place I was in when I got flagged, a month ago but I just now have 90 inboxes, 90 new inboxes instead of 58 2-year old inboxes. So essentially I came in today pretty not defeated, but I had lost I was like, oh crap. I finally got to the place of understanding what this is. And then I can't even really send out these invites. So that has been like the last 3 or 4 hours I've been trying to work through that. Last 2 hours in particular, I was like going back to ChatGPT, and then something really awesome happened. And right soon after that, I sent you a message. All right. So this is the backstory, so we can now know how to play.
Okay.
And essentially, I have an economics background, so I want to make sure that whatever I do, I can see how I can reinvest the money I get into actually growing this thing,
Mhm.
um, reinvesting the money I get from like in the first 30 days back into growing it, and then having other mechanisms or ongoing cash that grow beyond the first 30 days. So it's like that first 30 days pays for itself. It brought someone in, it pays for itself. We're good. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm covered. It pays for itself and someone else. So Alex Ramosi calls it client finance acquisition. So I'm like, all right, what is my client finance acquisition strategy? That needs to be in place, and I need to be able to understand. Let's say it costs me $50 to get someone to come and join our $99 a month program, right?
Mhm.
Um, how can I reuse that $99 immediately so that I can go get two more people to come and join in? You get what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah.
it's like in theory, I can spend the money. That's not a problem. It's actually quite easy to do it, But the question becomes, do I understand the game of this client creation process enough to understand where is the 2-to-1 ratio? What is the inputs that I put in? Right. It was very easy with cold email because I was like, I know how much it costs for me to get a lead. I know how much I'm paying for the software. I know how much it costs for a domain and an inbox, and how many emails each inbox can send. I know what my percentages are when I send it, like how many people open, how many people respond. I know what people sign up. I know it, like, so I could just reverse engineer and do all that and be like, great. For every 1,000, let's say for every 1,000 emails I send, I get 10 new signups. Let's say like that's what it worked out to be. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, well, now I want to get 20 new signups. So I need to be able to have another 1,000 emails. And
Mhm.
okay, that's how this, I can just do the math and then spend the money. I
Mhm.
couldn't figure that out with the live streams, with the content, with all that stuff, right? And so I was really getting confused because it really ended up being a game of how do you take your viewers and turn them into members, right? But beforehand, the game I was playing was not like, if you were listening, it was not about creating a podcast episode and then getting clients from the viewers of the podcast. It was actually about like the guests who came on the podcast. How can I
Mm.
create really great relationships with them so that some
Yeah.
of them could become partners, some of them could become collaborators, and some of them could become clients. But it wasn't about how do I make my audience become a client, you know? And that
Mm.
there was something in like that distinction that became really real for me when I was talking to ChatGPT right before I reached out to you. And it basically boils down to this. This is what all this was about. But like, but I want you to get like what it took to get here. And I also want people to understand um, like they may not know what's happening behind the scenes and why I'm playing the way I'm playing. You know, I can
Mm.
have this much freedom to do whatever I need to do because I know the processes to monetize, and that's why I was like also getting in here. So basically, it kind of came down to this. Like, I realized that for me, I'm not really. I get anxious when I try and think about how do I monetize an audience right now because that's not really where I want to be. You know,
Yeah.
the real thing about the podcast that was so freeing was that I knew rather than going out and being like, I need to talk to 100,000 people and get 100,000 impressions to then go and get 5 people to maybe come and do something. I'm like, I could definitely talk to 30 people if I just invite them onto my podcast. That day, I will have
Mm.
30 people. And then in that
Mm-hmm.
in that 30 people, I'll have those 30 people will have 45 minutes to an hour with me. We'll get a chance to walk. I'll be able to see what they're doing. They'll be able to see what I'm doing, you know? And like they're real people. They're right there. I don't have to go out to a
Yeah.
100,000, maybe might hear me at some point. It's like, boom, right there. And that to me felt really outliery because like that's
Mm.
not the game I saw that people play. You know, people are like, you can't give away your thing for free. You can't do this for free. Like, I'm like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, it's the same time. Like, I have the same time. Like it's 24 hours no matter what. There's like, you know, I'm working 7 hours like here. Like, my thing is, how do I get people to come into my world, and I could like play really far back, and then maybe someone comes in, or I can just invite them in, and we get a chance to play and we get a chance to get to know something and then I get a chance to learn, okay, what is the process, how do I make this process better, how do I make this process of that, like how do we build that relationship, kind of like how do we instead of cooking it on the stove top, how do we microwave it, you know, like it's
Mm.
like but that's the question I get to ask. And
Mm.
so thank you for all this. You've given me a lot of space to like bring it all together. You
Mm-hmm.
probably didn't need this much detail, but I also want to make sure it's documented. You know, because like there's gonna be a time where I'm not worried about this, or it'll be a time where I'm worried again, and then like to come back and watch this because I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I fell off the path. The end thing here is I want to talk to you for the rest of this conversation. I want to get any reflections you have for me, but I want to talk to you for the rest of this conversation around like the real key to all this, which is I'm an inviter. I gather people. The movement, the Outliers Edge movement, isn't a space on school. The movement is conversations, conversations um, that are life changing, conversations that are world shaping, conversations that are like identity building. You know, like that's what this thing is. And so where it came down to is I'm like, oh, what I loved about the podcast was not the podcast. I did not care about it. But I was able to invite people onto my platform. I was able
Yeah.
to invite people into a space and do something cool that we made up, and we got to co-create it each time. It was not like I was leading it, but it was based on where, like sometimes I would get coached on my own platform, and I didn't have that as an intention. I'm like, I just met you, but I like your vibe and I like what you brought in, like, and so that's what I want to play with you here with. I know we've been trying to figure out like, all right, what's your Saturday Night Live? What's your way of this looking? And I think
Yeah.
I've found it. I think I've found it. And I wanted to play, build it with you, have you take these ideas while I'm sleeping and like see what we can make of it. But it's really the long and the short of it. It all boils down to at the end of the day, I think that I would like to be doing lives for like 5, 6 hours a day,
Yeah.
consistently inviting people and setting up a system that allows us to get 30, 40, 50 people every single day to come through this platform and feel good, feel seen, feel like they're collaborating here, and then also still get a chance to be a part of the free group and also get a chance to come and get coaching with me if that's how I'm still doing it, depending on where it is. But like that to me, I think is what I would love to talk through with you, to come play with you, and to have you produce and including go finding people for this, like help me figure out like this the engine that
Yeah.
makes it that we're like every day, all I need to do is come on and it's already like we're immediately talking, you
Yeah.
know? Like I would
Yeah.
love from 9 to 4 every day to be back to back to back to back to back with calls that people get a chance to see. And maybe I step out every once in a while for some enrollment calls, or we figure out how to do this so good that I no longer have to have sales calls anymore. And I can just
Yeah.
talk more. you know, like I could just be like, oh great, you just joined. I'm so glad like I've seen it happen. Like Hormozy did this, where he's like, he had people go buy $18,000 products and then come in like just so they can talk to him 5 minutes on a call. You know, I'm not saying like that's the exact thing that I want, but I'm like, I know that if you do the work, and he put in like years of this, and he sold businesses, and he's done lots of like he's done a lot of work for it, ton of work for it. But I'm like, oh,
Mm.
it's possible that like someone can come in and be like, yeah, let's just coach, let's do this live, or let's talk, let's build this out. Oh, you're my teammate. Like, let's like tell me about what's the update, how are things looking, how are you thinking about that, so on and so forth. So I think I have a name for it, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna pause and let you like you've been so kind to just be in it. And for those of you that are listening right now, I know that this is happening in real time. Like that you're seeing inside of both my head and the business, like and how we're trying to create with intention. I don't just show up, even though like I show up with so much intention, even though I don't have a plan per se each time. There's an overall strategy that's always being executed, and we're planning it out. So I want you to share in the chat here, like let's assume that this is not for me. This conversation wasn't for me. I didn't share this for me. Like, what did you get from this? What's one thing that what's one insight you're getting? What's one thing about the conversation so far that struck you? Maybe it's not any words that we got said, but it's just the fact that this is happening. Like, go ahead, leave a message in the chat. I'll come back and I'll take a look at it. But like, feel free to put that in here, and we'll continue on. We'll continue on from there. Okay. So the last thing, and then I want to get like your take on this, Veronica,
Hmm.
is that my thoughts are what I want to do is have basically one show. It's a daily show that can go on for hours, right?
Hmm.
And the name of the show will be called Outliers on the Edge. Right. So now it's because I feel like Outliers Edge, when I bring them people onto the Outliers Edge podcast, they get to be an outlier and talk about their edge, like or what has been there in the past, but mainly big be an outlier. But I feel like Outliers on the Edge like tells you what we're gonna do. Whatever it
Yeah.
is, like be prepared to be on the edge. You know,
Hmm.
Saturday
Hmm.
Night Live. You're gonna do something live on Saturday night. You know,
Yeah.
that hot wings thing. It's like you're probably gonna do something with hot wings, or spicy wings, like whatever that thing is. So there's something about Outliers on the Edge that I think gives me a lot of flexibility to know what it is. I'm not looking at it to be like a variety show. It's not that, but it's this. It's like, okay, Veronica, do you want to come on and do this live? And you're like, I don't know what that's going to be like. I wasn't planning on that. Like that was not on my bingo card for this day, but sure, let's go do that. We're on the edge. And now I'm
Yeah.
letting people know, hey, this is all the stuff. This is how my business works inside. I don't know if this is like I'm on my edge. And I just want to stay on my edge. Bless you. I want to stay on my edge. I want to stay with people on their edge. And then I think that's going to leave room for me to be coaching people, for me to be like collaborating with people, for me to be doing internal calls, external calls, and just building this thing outside, building this thing like learning out loud is what I feel is like the real part. Learning out loud
Mm.
and documenting it. So and figuring out how I choose to monetize that in a way that's lovely for me. And I think that feels really good. So I'll pause there. I feel very grateful that you've been listening to all this. I'm like, I said it all out loud, and I'm like, okay, I'm not making this up. This still sounds good. Like it still sounds good even when I externalize it. So you can break it apart. It doesn't have to sound good to you, but would love to hear like what did you hear? What are you curious about? What are your thoughts? And let's just play.
Yeah. Firstly, thank you for trusting me with your thoughts and sharing so openly with us. We've had this conversation before. Like at the end of the day, I always want to say or do what's helpful for you, so it always helps just hearing more of what's going on with you. So a few things stood out to me. The first thing, and I think we have this in common. We both like Layla and Alex Hormozy. And I was actually listening to one of her podcasts, I don't know what to call them, but a YouTube video yesterday. And she was saying the reason a lot of people get discouraged is because they think so much about the results as opposed to seeing success in the systems, which I think is what you're talking about, where you are now, where it's less about this is what I have achieved, but I have these systems designed to get me this outcome, and I'm going to measure my success based on my ability to follow the systems. That's also where I am mentally now, instead of thinking, what have I achieved this week? Because sometimes we honestly don't have control over that. And there's also an element of luck that comes into life, no matter how good you are. There is an aspect of life, but it's just leaning into the systems. So, one, yeah, that felt good for me. Also, we've had this conversation about, I don't like the, I'm not good at social media management, but what I do think a lot about is intention, what I want to communicate, who I'm communicating with, and how I can reach them. So even we've had this conversation before where even when I share things, I'm not saying this because I think that will drive up social media engagement. Engagement in and of itself is not the goal, because you can have the numbers, but as you've mentioned previously, now there's a conversion aspect, right? Because you can have a million people watching, but now how do you get them to connect with what you're saying? How do you basically connect to the right people, right? So then another thing, okay, now going back to outliers on the edge, and what does this system, what does this machine look like? And I'll share with you what I'm thinking based on what you've said. So one is, we talked about sometime last week when I told you I realized I think I'm achievement oriented, which is discouraging because I haven't achieved a lot of things I'm proud of. So maybe that's actually something I can use to my advantage. And I know not all people are like that. And I think I shared with you a breakdown of different personality types, and some are relationship driven, some are purpose driven, and obviously all of this can be elements within one person, but me understanding that was such a mind opener. Then this morning we just talked about how I've switched up my morning routine, and I'm waking up earlier now, and I don't find many people who want to wake up that early. So earlier this year I tried getting convincing people like, yeah, let's wake up early, you can do so much. And I even tried to start a, like, I got this app and I connected with people on the app, and I was like, okay, let's motivate each other. And it fizzled out. So now how I'm connecting that with what you're saying about outliers on the edge, there's an aspect of readiness. And it's only recently when I got back to my waking up early morning routine, I connected with someone else who's like, yeah, I also wake up at 4:30. And I was like, no way, there's no way. And so now I'm finding more and more people naturally without trying to convince people. So how does that connect with what you're saying? It's the finding people who are ready to do that thing. So we're basically creating, one, we've had this conversation before, an experience, but to a process that works, right? Aspect to it, where my mind is at. Because for me, and I don't, maybe I'd be curious to hear if you're also like that, I love to see the growth of things. I love to have a goal. So even if it's fitness, like maybe my goal may not be like a specific weight, but maybe if in my mind I can measure, oh, before I would get tired after 15 minutes of running, now I can do a lot longer. So where my mind is at is there a way, one, we can create, I don't know if the word is quizzes, but some kind of way, a person who's coming on the show or interacting with Outliers Edge, where they can understand who they are. So just different checkpoints of clarifying who they are, what are their goals, how are they getting closer to that. So one would be the understanding yourself. Then going to Outliers on the Edge, what I'm actually imagining, and I haven't decided if this will be like we divide it daily or we move with the same group on a specific day. But if there was a way to say, on Tuesdays we work on this thing, and this specific aspect on Tuesdays is understanding yourself and understanding maybe the thoughts that are working against you. So if it was thought focused, then on Wednesday we said, Now, Wednesday, we're working on the behaviors that are getting in our way because one is the mind and two is the behaviors. So I think the way you'd have the best insight
Yeah,
because you,
I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some thoughts on this. You
yeah,
know,
tell me.
yeah, yeah. 'Cause I actually had like a visceral response with the second one,
Okay,
and I was like, too. It's too rigid. You know,
okay,
and it's and you know what? It's not that and like that. That shows you just how much flow I want. You know,
okay,
um, and I think what's gonna happen, Veronica, is like it's like I'm not hurting for what to get done. You know,
mm,
I'm curious about. All right, let me put it in a couple of things. It feels really good that the response I had is like I want to. I think it'd be better for. I think what. Yes, this is what's happening. There's a part of me that's like I just want to like do this. Like I just want to see what happens if I just show up. You know,
yeah,
um, and like I would be so sad if today was like, you know, grow yourself internally day. I'm like, up, can't get on with Veronica. You know, like, I'm too
mm,
present.
okay,
That's my gift. My gift is my presence. And like it's not
mm,
vulnerability. Like this is not necessarily vulnerability. This is an openness kind of thing, an openness, a genuineness, and honesty around things. Um, and it's not to say that I don't think it would get to that level like construction, but I don't think I would be the person doing it. I think Outliers Edge would have it, and one of the facilitators would do it, and we've now like broken it into something where like there's different people are hosting different shows and or like what I'm saying like we have like, but I think that for where we are. Like I felt myself getting like smaller, and then I literally had like an internal shift on it because I was like, this needs to just be presence. This
okay,
is like this is hours of presence and building and Veronica, like I actually I like all the ideas you have. I'm
mm-hmm,
like, okay, I won't be the one that's doing most of it per se. Like I'm like, but I would love for us to like, let's say there's the quiz. Like I'm not gonna. I think this is the thing. I don't want to stop. I don't want to put anything in front of getting out there. I don't put anything in front of getting the invitations out and actually being on the edge. If we're going to create a quiz, we're going to come and do it live. So like I'm basically just going to work out loud, like for a while at least, you know,
yeah,
and there'll be a day where I'm like, I gotta go spend more time without having to like talk about it as I'm doing it. Like, let's just get this done, you know. But I think that the model of what I'm seeing here is very organic, like really intentional. I do like having like themes for the day, but the themes there being less processed. I'm a concentric circle thing. I think I just this is the way I think. So once
mm,
I like I love having systems for like in various components of it. It's just um ah I know what's coming up. That makes more sense to me when I have more people participating,
okay,
but with the current number of people, with us just like I'm like I don't even know how to get two people to come. I don't even know how to get one person on here. Like if we're talking about like have a quiz to come, I'm like that's another reason for them not to show up. Versus like I think it's gonna be hard enough for me to just get them onto the show. Versus like can you fill out this quiz first and then afterwards like you're gonna know your thing and then we're gonna go talk about your thing on this stuff like I think that there's gonna be a time where we hit the critical mass, and that will be like people are gonna come in and be like, oh yeah, I've been like I took the quiz. I can't wait to talk to you about my results or whatever it is. But at this
okay,
point, I'm like, I'm gonna flip around the videos a little bit, but at this point, I'm like, I think we just make it like super simple, and like we just look at something where I can spend my mornings at like reaching out to people
yeah,
and saying, "Hey, I think you're cool. I do this thing called Outliers on the Edge. Like,
yeah,
would you want to come collaborate with me right now?" And people are like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, let's go talk about. I'm like, well, I'm actually live right now. If you want to come on, like, Veronica, like, think about this. If I can go and be like, if you want to come on live and have our collaboration, like, getting to know you, all that stuff, be done live, and then
yeah,
we then figure out what we go and do in another time, like. to me, I feel like that's so much freedom. You know, I get to do the work that needs to get done. People get a chance to see what's happening in between. We had June here earlier. She left a comment around like the impact that this conversation was having for her. I want to. I'll make sure let me say it out loud in case anyone's listening to this later on, right? And I'll put it on the screen right here. But it's June came in and shared, and she said, the fact that you're doing this live encouraged me so much on my journey. There are no set rules on how to do this, and I really need to hear that as I'm preparing to host my own set of lives. I've decided each live for the next year will be a launch of some sort, even if I'm doing a continuous whole year launch for the business, right? So June, like, props to you on this year. Thanks for coming on and sharing that. Thanks for making this real. And I think that this is that element for me where it's like, I love to see things grow, Veronica, but what I've learned from my experience of doing things in coaching is that things rarely grow the way that I expect it to. Like, I
Mm,
am not a sequential person. Even though I have systems, I like to see things flow from one stage to another. I'm like, I don't know what you did. I don't know how you ended up here, but you got on the next call with me. Cool. like we've made it possible for you to get there. Veronica, I don't know how you got the link you got to get on the call with me, but like whatever it needed to do, it was out in the world and you could choose your journey to get to me, to this conversation. You get what I'm saying? So I
yeah,
think that I like the structure, but I think it feels early, and I feel like if I like, you'll notice, I think there's not a lot of curriculum in what I do. It's almost always real time, right? And I think, Veronica, this is my outlier that's trying to shine through. I'm like, for
mm,
me, this is it. This is my genius. This level of presence, not having the curriculum, not having the plan. Can I make that okay?
mm,
Like that's my thing. Like I don't need other people to make this okay, but I can't go to someone and be like, go be an outlier out in the world. Be you on purpose and live unapologetically as I apologize for not having my curriculum in place. You get what does that make sense there? Like
yeah,
it's meta in that way. I want to jam with you on it. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? But like, yeah, I want to play in that vision because that's my edge. Like,
yeah,
it'd be easy for me to come in like, I prepared today. I'm controlling today. Here goes where I am. Nope, that doesn't work. It doesn't fit what I had for the day. But like the real edge for me is like, can I be a leader who's ready for anything? Can we go live? What if something happens? What if something goes off? Like, what do I have to do then? You
yeah,
know, like that's how I grow. Cause I'm like by not being ready is how I grow, as opposed to being like, am I ready? And that's what I'm learning through hitting live first again. Once I turned the
mm,
10K thing, I started growing again because I was like, oh, I'm doing it before I'm ready rather than being
mm,
afraid that I had to have everything in place. I'm like, I can only do 10,000 minutes if I know I'm going to be able to do X amount of time every single day with these amount of topics and all this stuff here. And I stopped doing stuff. Trust me, like I stopped doing things. Like you're getting a chance to get to know me through this here too. So what do you hear? What are you getting from it?
what I'm hearing and really respecting, because I think it's also pulling me to process things differently. What I'm hearing is sometimes when there's a very rigid plan, you say no to things that you don't know you're saying no to because they didn't have a chance to exist or be explored or be experienced. So I am respecting that. So I can see why you're leaning towards more free flowing. And I think there is, I do kind of see I don't know what to call it, but I asked myself, wow, can I exist in a space where I have no plan? And I think today is such a day. And even as it is, being transparent, I'm also having to fight thoughts of, will I say the right thing? Are people going to see me not having the right thing to say? And I think that's part of the work that frees a person.
I'm dancing. This is it. Yeah. We could talk
Yeah,
about it, but now you have
yeah,
an experience. Immediate. We just shorten the timeline. Like we could talk
yeah,
about this other thing, but like, yeah, keep going,
yeah,
keep going. But like, this is like outliers. As you're watching this here, no, this is part of why we do it live. This is part of why we do like we put it out there. Like it's like we can intellectualize where it is, but what's
yeah,
going on. And I appreciate you, Veronica, for talking about what's happening on the inside,
yeah,
for talking about that and putting it out here. Like this is an experience. It's not a show. Veronica's getting an experience to show up live. and see what happens and be like, how do I show up when something gets recorded and once I know people
Yeah.
are going to be listening and so on and
Yeah.
so forth. It's rough. Like it's not easy being in space with me. I told you that the first time we talked. I was like, I'm intense. Like it ain't easy being in space with me. I might be smiling, but like
Mm,
there's like I'm asking you to be seen, and then you're
yeah.
getting a chance to see how you are showing up when you're being asked to be seen. And it's like,
Yeah.
is this in alignment with what I want to be? Like I'm polished, but do I want to be polished? Am I putting up things right when like it's all that
Mm,
stuff? And I love
yeah.
I just really appreciate that you're not hiding that in this space here. Like it opens up a lot of open up a lot of room. And if
Mm.
you who are watching this, if you have any comments, anything that you're seeing, anything that you're reflecting on, what this gives you, just put it into the chat. Let us know. Like we're growing together. Honestly.
Mm.
All right, Veronica. I like. Sorry, it's gonna be how the conversation goes. I'm gonna pull in such as it goes on, but keep going, please.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I love that. I want to exist in that space more. And actually, even right now, I have ideas I've been holding back on because I'm like, okay, where does that fit in? But I think I'm now seeing sometimes the value is in there's no plan. So I'm going to lean. I'll get back to you on how that goes. I'm just going to lean into them and just go forward and do the things, and then we'll see what happens. That being said, so for the lives, I can see that now there are two things on my mind for a person who's viewing. One, they don't know that you exist, right? And then two is they know that you exist, but maybe their schedule, they don't know how to make that work with your schedule. So
Ah,
my mind, you know what I mean? So like my mind is trying to think, how do we keep
okay.
those people
Uh,
feeling like they're a part of the
this
journey?
so here goes. This is gonna sound. There's what I don't want to say, but I want to say it right. We solve for that later. We solve for that
Mm,
later, right? I think there's something about live streams that adds a pressure that I don't think needs to be real, which is like
yeah,
live streams end up being an event because it's happening live, and so people have to like they have to stop with it. They have to be involved at that time, you know, and it's happening synchronous. It's happening at a specific date and time, and so I recognize like that throws me off like looking in here and being like, oh, we need to have several hundred people on live. Like I'll see Hermos is one of the people I follow right now, right? He has 3.65 million followers on one of his platforms, but then
yeah,
like 1,500 people actually show up to watch the live. I'm like, this is coming from millions, and he's able to get 1,500 on it live. Like if that's the kind of math that happens there, like if that's the like how small the audience is live, then maybe I don't have to like worry about that. And this goes here, and I think Veronica, this is what's going to mess with you a little bit here because it's different than like it literally came to me beforehand. I care so much about the people who are watching. We are going to repurpose this, and there's going to be people who are going to be able to get things in real time. Maybe they're washing the dishes or they're listening to this as they're like getting their kids ready for school, and they just have an ear on or whatever it is. And I'll be talking to them like I am right now. Leave a comment. How does this make this? How does this make you think? Hey, let's pull this apart. Like there is some component of it, but I think that the real freedom and the real reason I sent you the message was that it's not about the audience right now. That's part two. This is how do we get the 30 people? The only audience that matters for the conversation are the people who actually show up live with me. That's all I'm trying to maximize for right now.
yeah,
Stage two, we can go hire editors, video editors, like because again, I've got a chance to see people who do live streams like this, and they use this to then make their content. Oh, let me rephrase it. They're there live and they're like, hey y'all, I'm about to go do like three videos for my content here,
mm,
so you all get a chance to watch me do it. And then they just they spend 45 minutes, they go through 15 minutes each one of them, and then they get done, and in between each one they're like, like, oh, I see your comments, like, and they start responding it, and then they come back in and they do the next one, right? And I think that there's to me that is the direction I want to go, whereas like actually, and I have some thoughts on this. So I'm going to keep giving you ideas here because like I actually like the things you need to figure out are a lot smaller than you might think, which is fun, which I think is fun. And then like once we get that locked in, you'd be like, oh, how do we expand this up higher? But the thing for me is like this is about the guests, only about the guests right now, right? And then I will do what I need to be able to pull out like I am with you here. But like this conversation is not people are watching and it will turn into content, but I'm not, it's not content. This is a team call. You know what I mean? Like this is a team call with like me putting some kind of like context behind it here. But I'm like, whether or not this is engaging the people or not, I don't care. Right. Because like what I need to know is in talking to my producer, what's happening. Now people get a chance to be a fly on the wall. And even better than a fly on the wall, they can influence the conversation by putting in their chats, coming in, coming to have a conversation. Like, yeah. But like the real is like this is our call. We're figuring this out. We're brainstorming together. And actually, and I think to be fair, it's less brainstorming because I'm like, I have a vision. Like you're helping me to extract and make it feel real, less than like, oh, what if we did like it's not necessarily that yet. I want to acknowledge that because it's like I know what I know I'm like, but like I think I needed to be like this, So I want to call in call in that. But to me, this becomes our only audience are the people who show up, right? Like, and then we have a repurposing team, a content team, or whatever it is that then goes out and then creates how people experience it in the long run. And they can cut out, they can splice, they can add visual graphics, they can do a lot of things that you and I can't, even though I have like the buttons to like change our views and everything. Like I think that like I can have like I think that's where we play this game right now and be focused first on like can we get 30 like because think about it, Veronica, like if we can get 30 people every single day to come on like to come be a part of this, like that's what is that in if I did it 5 days a week, that's 150 people by the end of the week who've actually had an experience. It's a great start from this, and then we then build the engines around it to like create from there. So like does that make sense? Is that like to me? It's a fundamental different thing, different shift, and it's like it was part of what helped me get this thing. I was talking to ChatGPT, and I was like, GPT, like you keep trying to help me figure out how to get impressions and everything. But what I loved about the podcast is that the people who came on the podcast were my prospects, you know, and like that was the process. It would like it didn't matter who listened to it. I wasn't like now that you're listening to the podcast, now go and do next step. It was like nope, it's for my podcast people, and then I got to like that's it. It was a free lead magnet. It was a very high touch lead magnet. My podcast, you know, and so does that change things for you? Like as I put it in that way, because that's what I'm trying to build, and that's what scares me to build. But that's also what I'm like. I was so sad until I realized, like, oh, this is not about trying to get hundreds of thousands of people to get 5 people to come on there. It's like, no, like I'm not gonna have sponsors. I am my sponsor. So I'm not doing click like CPMs. Like I'm not playing the traditional game here. It's the people who come on. Like, how can I get as many people as possible to participate? And if someone else happens to watch, great. Like we're going to do that. We want that to happen, but that's not what we're solving for, at least yet. Like first, it's like, can we do this? And then the next thing is, okay, now let's have the engine to make sure people see that we did it. And then the next thing is, how do we get people to actually come and join us live for it? That's my that's my thought process about breaking this down into like the systematized thing. As much as I said, I don't do things on a Tuesday and then steps and all that stuff. It's kind of
Yeah.
I kind of just laid out the steps for you.
Yeah, that's one I totally agree with you, and I love the free flowing and present approach. Um, I would say I'm still curious to see. So basically, what I'm trying to communicate is I'm not saying how do we reach people in terms of numbers. I mean, okay, I'll put it from the perspective of me, right? We're in different time zones, and I'm like, man, I feel like I haven't been able to join any of the live streams, and
Mhm.
I would love to still feel like I'm part of the community. So
Come join
what
us
I'm
inside of the community. Like the live streams is like this is like sorry, I know I'm interrupting you, but like this is I think it's really important. This is a free thing that I do, like and so like if like the cost is you got to wake up at a certain time or you got to sleep at a certain time, right? Like I've learned over time I'm like I'm not real inclusion is not I've made it available for everyone at all times at the best time that's best for them, or like I'm using time as an example, but like it's really like it's like I'm not stopping anyone. We're having a conversation. It's super inclusive. You can add chats. You can come meet me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Like I'm on TikTok right now. Like people are like well, like this is where we are. This is for this free offering. This is what happens. This is what it is. you know. However, if you want something that might beat you at better time zones or things like that, come join us inside of the movement. Go to school.com/outlier. See what we're doing that might be on like more on the global scale than on like, the US scale. This is like it's 10:49 p.m. as I'm recording this right now, Pacific time, right? So like most people that I like my I know my audience is predominantly US, like that's where I'm going for because I can go for global, but I'm like if I try and go for global, I'm gonna miss it right now. Like let me make sure I'm maximizing the people who can regularly come on time here. I've lived in Singapore, so I know what it's like to like wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning for a call that's from 2 to 4 a.m. And I showed up because like that was what I wanted was offered. So I hear what you're saying. I think the real solution to that is like if you want to come and do it live, like they're gonna have to shift things. And I'm okay with that, right? Because it's available for them. I'm not stopping them from doing it, but they have to make some choices for it. And if you do want to do it on your time, it's like that might cost you 20K, like USD to be able to do it on your time. But that's fine if that's how you want to do it. What are your thoughts there? Am I addressing it like am I addressing the right thing? It may not feel nice, like so I want to just check in and see like did I jump the gun?
So what I'm communicating is not your availability. I think I'm thinking back to times maybe I joined a like community, or I don't know what to call them. You know how sometimes there's like different groups, people who meet up, and sometimes some people trail off. But I think the ones that I really loved were the ones where even when you weren't there, there was a way that you still were able to get bits from what people said or what people does that make sense? Like you still feel like you were a part of it.
Mhm.
What I'm trying to communicate is, if and you I know you don't like structure.
It's not I don't like structure. I just don't need structure. I think that's the difference. Like I'm saying I don't need structure. So introducing structure for a certain point, I'm like, just tell me what the point is and let me just get that. I don't need structure to get to the end result. I'll just get the result. Like that's the difference. I love structure. I'm very structured, but
Yeah.
I'm at a higher level of structure, which is it looks like chaos because I'm like I know how to get things done. Like boom. Does that make sense? But keep going.
Yeah.
Like say what's there. Don't be afraid of bringing in structure. We're
Okay.
good. I just want to know like where we're trying to get to.
What I'm trying to say is outside of the lives, right?
Mhm.
Where my mind is at is deepening the impact, right?
Yep.
And we've had this conversation, like even on the school platform, there are people who will comment. So I'm like, oh, how can we actually enrich that? So someone like each week feels like, okay, that really stuck out to me, and
Yeah.
I'm making a step forward in this, in this step. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So even
It's a different product. So that's the actual
right,
movement part, right?
okay, yeah,
I'm trying to solve for the live stream portion of this year, but there's like that product is the Outliers Edge movement. And then there's things like we deliver the movement live through this. So like it's a free group, but you get opportunities to come and work with me live in there. And like we have people coming in like so you're talking about like that's the community element of it. And that's a different
yes,
product than
yes,
than this. It's tied because it's all part of the same ecosystem, right? It's like it's all part of the Outliers Edge movement, Outliers on the Edge. It's all the same ecosystem, but like it solves a different problem, right? So right now, if I ask people to interact with me, it's through a chat and it's more kind of like it's like us to many and then like one back to many, but like kind of it's all broadcast, and I have a way of kind of working through broadcast. But then, like, what you're talking about is like, what happens in between? Like, what happens if we want to grow? What if we were coming back here? What if we come and we watch this, like, through all the content and the clips and all that? Like, do we just come and broadcast messages onto a comment of that clip? Or what if there was a place that we can exist and, like, work with each other and be like, I heard this thing that Niiamah said and I put it into my own business and this is what I'm doing or this is what I'm challenging? Like, that to me is like the community space for it to, like, and it, like, which is where like you can see the QR code on the screen. Like if you go to that, like that's where it is. I'm going to do more in that space, but first I need to like I know what like it's they're all just conversation spaces. I'm like right now my thing is okay. How do I want to go and make sure I consistently get new more and more people to come and join us in that community space? And how do we like actually do the education portion of what happens in that community space by
Yeah.
being out here through these lives so that when they come in, it isn't just because I've done in the past, we've seen like there's like 450 people inside of my school group right now.
Mhm.
Each of them kind of came in kind of on a solitary thing. Like you came in there alone, you know, like the next person comes in alone, and we don't get the critical mass of all of them coming in at the same time, already
Right.
experiencing so on and so forth. And so, like, I've built community, I've done this in the past. I'm like, oh, okay, we need to make sure we have the traffic going first. If we have traffic where people are consistently coming in, then I know that
Yeah.
like I can hire a community manager. That's not hard. Like I know what that looks like, feels at least to start out with. And then we can manage and facilitate that conversation in a
Mhm.
global, asynchronous, but also synchronous manner. What do you like? Does this feel like it's more online with what you're getting at?
Um, where my mind is at is
Mhm.
I think sometimes, like for instance, with I think the community, I think what I'm focusing on right now is the strength of the belief in Outlier's Edge. Does that make sense?
Not yet.
If, okay, let's say 450 people have signed up for the school
Yeah.
community, and we found a way where those people started really feeling like, wow, I feel like I have a good group of people who are aligned with where I'm going. They understand me as a person. I'm motivated to come share every week or whatever, even if they're hopping on a call, because some
Yeah.
of the people hopping on the call might be part of the community, and they're
Yeah.
like, I just wanted to share with you guys this week, ever since that conversation, this and this has changed about my life, right?
Yeah.
Now that person goes and tells their other entrepreneur friend or whoever else friend,
Yeah.
and then now and I feel like that's what I'm saying is, if we pour it into, I'm not saying it has to be either or, right? I don't believe in either or. I think all
Yeah.
things exist at the same time.
Yeah.
The life will continue coexisting, as also the growth of this community, the strength of the impact in this community, because now by word of mouth more people are like, yeah, cool, yeah, let's join in. I feel like, yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I see myself in this. I think that's where my ideas come in. So when I say the quizzes, I'm not saying the quizzes in like almost like, oh, the word content you use. It's not about content. It's about how can we deepen that impact.
It's the so I think the thing is yes. So there right now we've crossed out of the live area and we're going to like other parts of the business, which
Right.
is so you're we're talking about that. I'm like, oh, you haven't even heard my thoughts on that because I've done this before. I
Mhm.
know like there's outlier ways to create outliership and there's ways to not to create the thing we're doing is we're creating a level of belonging that most other places don't get. There may be a level of inclusion, but it may not be a level of belonging, right? And so there's things in here like so. Let me say this here: part of what like makes someone an outlier is that they don't feel like they fit in the box, right? And so like I have to like honestly look at it and say, does it fit the ethos of Outliers Edge to say as you come in, take this quiz that puts you in a box? And like it's on a meta level, does that even work for our business? Because like I'm over here trying to say you be you and you don't have to fit into what other people say. And do you have the courage to do that and be that? And great, immediately come and be like what I want. I put you in these four boxes. So great, you know? And so like there's a
Yeah.
philosophical component to living this through that's really like that's the belonging. That's the core. There's a reason why I don't call people listeners. I'm not saying like clients. I'm like, I call them outliers. You're already part of the tribe. You're already part of the group. Just by that, you come in with something. So I like what you're saying. It's a different problem to solve, but it's a connected problem to solve. And it has like the same way that I'm like, oh, I need to go live because I need to go do something like that's different. And I'm like, do I want to just I could do an interview. It's working. I could do an interview podcast and just keep doing it, you know? But that's not me being an outlier. That's just me doing what works. So it's like, you're going to find with me, Veronica, that I'm always going to evolve, like look at things on a meta level. And outliers, I invite you to do the same. It's like, in what ways, like how true are you being to the core of your mission? And what sacrifices do you need to make to do that? And on the other side of it, like what more is required because of that? Like it's like I said, like nothing just happens. It's all really intentional. And so like I'm down for a quiz, but we have to like there's a way to do the quiz that actually like lifts people up versus accidentally tells people like that I'm categorizing them again. You know, when I'm
Mhm.
like so like it's but I think like the key of what you're saying is I don't even describe it, like I'm like that's not like not even beginning to worry about that right now because I'm like we need to get people in it. Like after we get people in it, then it's like how do we make them want to stay? But that's step 14. Like right now, I'm like how are we bringing people in? How are we getting them to feel in it? Um, and then once I know what is happening here, then I can go put my attention into the community again in a different way and be like, okay. And then people are actually, oh, is that a monkey on that behind you? Oh, you can't see it right now. Well, there was like on the electric.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's on this side. It's
Yeah,
reflecting off.
yeah, yeah. I just saw that go through. I was like, that's a monkey. That's cool. You
Yeah.
know. Um, but I think there's a real part of me that's like, if we figure this out in the next 48 hours, then I got to put live streaming behind me. I got to do the live stream, but I got to put like I don't have to figure that portion of the ecosystem out anymore. You know, and then we can go because Veronica, I see it being yeah, like the same way I texted you, right? I was like, "Hey, can you get on a call?" I'm gonna be doing the same thing inside of the group. Hey, everyone here, like we're on Outliers on the Edge. Like we got like 10 minutes. Like instead of just doing our lives on here, I want to shout out this, and this person here. Like I saw your updates for the last week on what you did. Y'all, any of y'all free to come join a call right now to come share your experiences? Or we have it set up in our infrastructure already that our team goes through. They're watching all the comments that go through and they're making connections. They're like, oh, you know what? Like, Steve needs to go be connected with Ali because they have some things that are happening. Let's go put those two in touch with each other, you know? Or Niiamah, can you go bring these four people? Like, um, I can see myself going to my team and saying, like, I want to do 2 hours of like group coaching next week, or maybe every week. And I'm like, I don't care who's there. Like, like go see what's happening inside of our space. And let's elevate them and bring them together onto this live call. And I'll do some live coaching. And now these three people who are all in the group that may know each other as outliers or have seen each other's posts or whatever it is, now those three are coming together and they're having a shared experience and they're following up with each other and they're growing there and so on and so forth. So I'm like, oh my goodness, once we get the people, the connection part, like that's always been my jam, Veronica. I know how to take existing communities and like make them like come together so well. My problem, like I'm culture is my background, learning development, like people experience was my last job. So I'm like, no part of me is like even like I'm just like, yeah, no, we just don't have the people yet for it. I've tried to do it with just like 10 people and of 10 active people. And then what happens is that those 10 people start to feel like they're feel pressured to have to show up to everything as opposed to like feel the freedom that they get to like be a part of something. It feels like, oh man, like now I have to take on leadership because there's no one else here. So I'm like, oh, we got to solve that. We have to solve for that first. Does that help? Does that make sense? Like you can challenge me on it. Like you mean like no, you're in the wrong place. But like I'd love to get your thoughts on it. I feel pretty good about it.
I still am a believer it doesn't have to be either or.
Yeah.
And I personally love when you don't have to look for clients because your pre-existing clients bring you clients because they're
Yeah.
believers of what you do. So I also believe in leaning into that.
Yeah.
And
But yeah.
yeah,
What part makes
yeah,
you feel like what I'm saying is an either or?
I think how you keep saying, I know how to do that, we'll do that later. And what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is you're focusing on the streams, but those two things might actually be connected.
Oh yeah. No, I just need I like so this is I think where I'm at right now is less like I'm like you don't have to convince me that it should be done. I know it should be done. I'm like, what's the way that feels good for the business to get it done, right?
Yes,
Like, like,
yes.
like, 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 and to me, there's like a big like know that like we can solve this live stream thing in 15 minutes, right? And so like even when I say we should get to it later, it's just like the next thing on the agenda. It doesn't have to be, it's not like a month later. It's like,
Yeah.
so given that this is how we're doing live streams, great. How do we want to incorporate the community? Um,
Mm.
because what ends up happening is that it's work, energy, and time, and resources, right?
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
so there isn't a part of me as a leader of this thing and as a manager of how it goes along, like, where are we putting our work, energy, time, and resources? You know,
Yeah.
are like, we can post inside of the group, but if people don't feel connected already, then it's not going to happen. Like, usually what happens is the new blood comes in, they start responding to things, and someone's like, oh, someone came in, and cause we have to revitalize something right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's a project. That's a project to do, to like, to revitalize and to bring in with intention, um, and to set up the infrastructure for it and to keep it going. It's a project. Now, there's a liveliness to this here. So when people come and they join the movement and they join in there, it's like, okay, we get immediately, hey, what's going on? What are you talking about? It might just be a few people right now that are in that space. And I think that, like, again, for me, it's more about presence at this time. I'm like, we should just talk, like, it's not about, but I'm thinking about it, I promise you. And so, yeah, let's bring it in. It's You're right. You know, I think that the thing is, what I'm talking to you about right now with the live stream and stuff, that I absolutely don't know how to do. And so, like when I say I don't know how to do, like, that's where the real edge is. That's where the real problem is. It'd be so easy and so much fun for me to talk about more culture building and growth and all this stuff, because that's easy for me. That's easy. But that's not the problem. That's not the constraint of the business right now. Right. And we could do both of them, but I think we would divert the resources to the point where everything will peter out. And I've done that before. And I'm like, this time around, we're just gonna, like, let's get it, let's just finish this. And we can get it done in 15 minutes. Like, this doesn't have to be a forever kind of thing. It's like,
Mm.
so we good with Outliers on the Edge? Like, because we didn't actually, like, I brought that whole thing in there, but Veronica, we never actually talked about Outliers on the Edge yet. We started talking about all the other things afterwards. I'm like, but no, this is what I'm still trying to figure out. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to get this done so I can go to sleep and then wake up in the morning and be like, Outliers on the Edge is complete. Let's go work on how we're bringing people into the movement, or how we're tying it together, right? But we haven't actually had the conversation about the core thing right now. So
Mhm.
I'm like, I can't move on to this, because I'm like, a lot of this is, does Niiamah have the energy to move this forward right now? And that becomes harder if that's the lens of it. And and the challenge that happens is that, like, and I want to make sure I'm being real with you, because I am the one that is moving things forward a lot right now. Then it becomes like, well, do I, like, is this actually in alignment with me? Because I'm like, I can do what Veronica says or what anyone else says, but all those stuff are hard for me. And so, like, they're telling me that's easy for them, and it's like, it's just hard. If you want to do it, I'm cool with it. I just want to make sure that stuff I'm getting done is getting done too. But, like, there's space. Like, I'm like, you want to go make a quiz? Let's talk about it. Let's make sure that, like, we find, like, the energy of, like, where the ethos is, and then go get it done. And then go, like, and then, because I've been working. Does this feel good, by the way? Like, let me know if this feels like I'm shutting things down or what. Let me check in.
Yeah. When you mentioned time, energy, and resources, I understood what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, and you have had a lot of experience in this. So if you're saying you've tried the community aspect and right now it's not the priority, I trust that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is like, I mean, it's literally on the QR code right here. It's been on the bottom of the entire thing. It's always been, come join the community, come join the school. Like, it's 100% there, right? Um, but and what I've learned is, if I don't have a constant stream of new people coming in, those things die out. The community dies out. It's like, so I need, like this time around, I want to make sure I'm like, first things first, we got to make sure we have a good flow coming in. How can we have a
Yeah.
good flow coming in? Well, and this is what I've been racking my brain on, banging my head against the wall, being like, is it content? Is it this? Is it live streams? Should I be doing back to the podcast? Because I need a constant stream of people coming in. And then the
Yeah.
answer was really simple. It's like, and the thing is that different people want different things. So I
Right.
can invite someone to a community, and they're like, I'm already part of a lot of free communities. Like I'm good. I don't do communities and that, and like we're not. It's not 2016 anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like
Yeah.
that invitation may not be the invitation it once was,
Yeah.
coming from like, hey, do you want to come do it? But there's something about that I've learned from, and this is Outliers. You can take this. It's something I've learned from inviting people onto a platform and be like, hey, can I platform you? Where people will be like, yeah, me? You like want to platform me? Sure. You know?
Yeah.
And like, and then from that, like now that we're in conversation, when I say, by the way, like we have a whole community of people like you should come be a part of that or whatever it is, like that has a higher level of people saying yes and being locked in. And then eventually, because I think the thing is that like this thing is still small. Eventually, this swaps, and people like go for the community first, and then they're clamoring to come on to like the live stream or whatever. Like something changes at a certain point, but we haven't hit that critical mass part yet, you know. And it's like, all right, what happens if someone like right now people are looking for quick feedback loops. So someone like you put inside of that post, you put something in there, right? But we didn't get back to you fast enough, you know? And so like your post is just kind of hanging out there right now. You know, like we really want to be in a place where you make a post and you don't have to worry about is Outliers Edge like getting back to you, or is this actually like is a community involved, engaged, so on and so forth. And that takes concerted effort. That's a full-time role. That's a full-time role in and of itself. So I'm trying to like that's how like I'm like I want to make sure we get this done so we can do that and give it then do it right or do it fully. Maybe not right as the word, but like do it completely. Do you feel
Yes.
not heard? I see your smile. I feel like I want to just check in and say like you're like no, he doesn't get it. I'm all right with that.
Um, hmm. I think I'm almost thinking of it in a way where the community runs itself and you don't even you see how you're saying responding. That's a nice thing. That's a great thing to have, right?
Yeah,
But I'm almost imagining this world
yeah,
where, okay, we've had this conversation. Like, for instance, someone had left a comment, they started a new business and
yeah,
needed different things. And I think sometimes the people that you feel understood by or that you relate to are not always the people around you,
yep.
which is why I'm thinking how can we create a space where they have that here so that you don't
Where's
even
here? Where's
necessarily
here?
here being the school community, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Outliers
yeah,
Edge. So
yeah.
in a way where people can respond to each other, it doesn't even necessarily need to
But that
be.
exists. That's the
Yeah,
thing. It like the entire platform can already do that. It's not
yeah,
already doing that. So like you're asking a question that's already like that's been solved for. Can it be done? Does it exist? It exists. Is it happening? That's different. But like
yeah,
so like I'm missing like I'm 100% with you.
yeah,
It just takes a lot to get there, to get to the critical mass where it is actually taking care of itself. But from a community builder's perspective, like a lot of the times the people who start the community, they're the people, like it's them figuring it out until we get to critical mass. And so the question for me is how do we get as quickly to critical mass as
yeah,
possible, right? And what is like what does it take to make it valuable enough where people are
yeah,
like, I want to go out and ask that stuff. And that's a huge question to ask. And part of what I have found over time has been like it's actually the people that make it valuable enough, you know. And like being able to have live streams and things like that, like I take the transcripts of these things and we turn them into questions that we put inside of that group, and we get the people to respond to those questions. I don't need to be the leader. Like I can lead, but I don't need to be the holder of information. I don't want to be, you
yeah,
know. Like I bring people together for them. Like when I throw parties, like I go out and I find a bunch of different people that I've met over the last month, and I bring them all into the room. I'm like, you don't know each other, but you're both awesome. Y'all should hang out,
right,
you
right,
know. Yeah, so but that's a completely totally different. Like I would say to you, if you're looking to solve that problem, I'm going to ask you to help me solve that 5 people at a time through a live community call right
okay,
here, whether or not they know they signed up for the movement or not. You know, the 30 people that we're talking about every day, that's us creating that experience for them in real time. And then after they have this experience here, they then go and say, "Wow, that was awesome. Bless you. I want
Thank
to
you.
continue having that experience." Well, great. If you want to continue having that experience, go to the school community. It's free, and we continue to have like the experiences there. And you get to meet the other 30 people that I met that I had yesterday. And you got to meet the 150 people from the week beforehand. And we're all being awesome in there. And then there's a separate conversation, similar to how we're facilitating conversations live in this space, so on and so forth. There's a separate conversation that might be related to, but like it's on a different platform with a different, similar purpose, happening in a different context, where some people be like, I'll never come on live, but I will always respond to someone's post in here. Like, it's the first thing I check in the morning. It's just two separate projects that are very, very closely related. But it's
Yeah.
like the thing is, we're doing that community live every day. And then saying, now that you had the live experience, go have the asynchronous experience. It's the same.
Yeah.
And you see how like we ask questions of each other, and you notice how like I pushed back and like I came in, I said, "Hey, you see that thing that you're doing?" And now it's like, oh, in this community, we don't just go off and be like, "Here goes a bunch of what other people said." We get curious with each other, but we don't need a coach, and we share what's happening on the inside and what feels challenging to us in it. Like I'm training them in the sense, like not like this live element becomes it's it's the community part one. And then eventually it ends up being more people are going to join the community directly before they can, because they'll have more than 30 people joining at a time. And so they'll have to join the community directly. And then I'll be pulling them from the community up here and then bringing them back into the community from there. Right. And like my model is not an advertisement model. Right. And while I have a free community, the purpose is not to keep people in the free community. Spoiler alert, right? I've told you all we got to make sure we do this in a way that's sustainable for the business. So the thing is, like, there are going to be people who are going to be in communication in the free level, but there are ways for them to come and play with us in deeper, more constructed areas that are going to deepen relationships. Like, you come join one of my levels of the program allows you, like, we have an in-person mastermind, an in-person like meetup, each year, right? That's going to create another level of community. That's going to create another level of this stuff. So it's all there. Like that, this part, it's all there. The thing I need to figure out is how am I bringing people in on a regular basis, like super regularly, while like also planting the seeds for the future. Like this is where this conversation like is so important, because it's like without a way to get traffic, without a way to get people into the game, there's no game being played. Trust me, I have 430 people in there, but I didn't get them in at the same time. I was so busy doing the podcast conversations and having one-on-one calls that I couldn't actually go back into the group and like foster the conversations that needed to be there. I'm like, I know what it's like to have this grow at a regular clip, but then not have the plan of what goes next. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just know that you're here. I'm like, oh, now I have to go figure out what to do. I have to figure out how to get y'all to talk and feel comfortable and all that. I'm like, oh, I'm still trying to figure out how to get y'all to like come onto the podcast right now. And so it ended up being too many things to take on at the same time. And now I'm like, oh, I want to do this one step at a time over and over again. Solid. Does that make sense? Because I'm only ever going to do this. Like this is a forever kind of thing. Like,
Mm.
and can I just say real quick here, thank you. I want to say thank you because I get your belief in this, but I also not just get your belief from an intellectual perspective. I feel your desire to have this. I feel your desire to be like, I want to talk to other outliers. I want to be able to do this. And hey, are we back? We back in connection here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in figures. Yeah, it's
No,
going in and
this is the first time. That was the first time that's happened in a while. But I just want to say like, and it wasn't your fault. It was my fault. I started transmitting a lot of energy through everything, and it ended up like carrying out. So because I'm going to start wrapping up this conversation. I'm feeling like it's time for me to head to bed. But what I want to say thank you to you, because what ends up happening here is what I feel is a real desire for you to be connected with other outliers, to not like you want what the promise of this thing is, and
Mhm.
and it's not just because you're on the team, it's because you want it. You're like, wouldn't it be great if other people who are outliers are we're also having conversations, and whatever it is, like we're building each other up. I can tell them what's going on. I can share with, and they're like in response. And so like,
Mhm.
just so you know, I hear this in like as a like in response with that, you know.
Mhm.
I want to say thank you for putting it out there. Is that true? Did I make that up there, or is it like no? I actually wish that this existed right now.
You
Say it
articulated it
again.
well. You articulated it well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just want to make sure I got you. I got you on this one here. Um, and with your help, we'll produce this first thing really quickly, and then we'll like I want you involved in the inputs on like how do we shape this community? How do we want this to be? Um, and like the culture, the ethos, the philosophy, like not
Mhm.
just the conversations, but like all this. And how do we make sure that these two parts of the ecosystem are speaking super well to each other? Awesome. And then we go add another part. And it's like, okay, now we have three parts. Now we're juggling three things. How do we make sure that all three of these things that aren't like, and they're not all bowling balls. One's a chainsaw, one's a bowling ball, and one's a ball, or like not bowling pins, like, so there's like three, they feel different, they do things, but they're all part of the same thing that we're juggling. How do we actually pass those things on from one thing to another? I get really excited to have that conversation. I really, really do.
Mhm.
And if you're like, hey, look, I can produce that and I know what to do about it, then like let's talk, bring me a proposal. The key with me is like align with me first because like I've been building this thing for a decade, so I know what I want, generally speaking. I want and like, but I have a lot of room with it too. I want it to be better than that, but I'm just like, here goes like there's a lot of freedom. Like you can talk to someone else on my team that's like, I have a lot of freedom. Just like we got to be aligned. Once we're aligned, I don't care how it gets done. Does that make sense? But if we're out of alignment, then it's like then I'm like, oh, I have to come in and check in and such. All right. How's all this feel to you so far?
I want to clarify what your needs are. So it's how it's bringing more people onto the live streams regularly. Did I get that correctly?
Well, I think we end for today, like in the sense of like, I think the big thing is understanding what outliers on the edge is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, like it's not my first need and desire is for you to understand, for you to really get like the ethos and why I want more people on the live stream. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It is less about there's a business element, an impact element of actually having people go through, but there's
Mm-hmm.
also a Niiamah element of like, this is how I shine. And until we have a marketing team that's out there like promoting all like we gotta I'm a solopreneur from this perspective, then I gotta like you gotta use me to get to the best results. And so that's big for me to like make sure that like you get that part. Otherwise, like because I know your
Yep.
brain is like your brain and your alignment is really high on what we're doing. And so it's
Yep.
like if you're looking at the thing from a different perspective, then we're not looking at the same thing sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, let's look at this here. Like, help me bring this idea of going live every single day and have 30 people going live with me, right? I don't know what that means to you. I don't know what you hear when I say that, Veronica. Because we haven't actually like gone down a level on this at all, you know?
Yeah.
But like I say I want 30 people alive on it. I don't know what you interpret from that. What do you interpret? What do you think that means? Like I have like I one of the best things about this conversation is that you help me reinforce like I'm like, I know what I want to do. Like so that's incredibly valuable, but I'm like, but I would prefer not to do it alone, or to have you miss it as it's being done. I'm like, I would love to build it with you, like building it with me. So I'm curious, like, what do you get in from when I say Outliers on the Edge, me being able to go live for 6 hours a day, like getting 30 people on it, like so on and so forth. And hint, you're experiencing it right now. Part of the reason why I wanted to go live with you is so that like it wasn't this intellectual exercise. You would
Mm,
be one of the first people to have actually been on it, so that you can then understand like what was this thing that just happened, or
yeah.
like you know what I'm saying. So what are your thoughts? And you have to take off? I don't know what time you have, so I know I'm wrapping up, but I don't know if you have to take off.
No, we're good on time. It's
Yeah.
early here. So okay, now that you've explained that lives is where, in your words, where you feel like you shine, that being one aspect. Two, okay,
Mhm.
I'll just say it how I see it.
Conversations. Yeah.
Conversations.
Yeah.
Okay. So conversations, hmm, on the business aspect, as you've just mentioned, there would be the conversion of that into coaching, that translating it
Let's figure that out next. But like, yeah,
later.
I uh, this is converting in some sense. But like, yeah, I'll set aside time and like be like, hey, you came on the show, come, let's have a one on one or let's talk or whatever it is. That's a separate mechanism than this part. This part, like, I need to flesh this out more.
Yeah. What I understand is you'd like to do the, just throwing the number that you'd mentioned, like 30 or so people on a show. One, because you enjoy the experience of conversations.
Oh, okay, this is good. This is good. Do you think I mean all 30 at the same time, or 30 throughout the, like 30 at different times over the 6 hours? Which one do you think I'm saying?
I'm imagining it would be segmented,
Hmm.
so probably each hour five or so,
Okay,
because
cool.
there would be a process of also um, reflecting on what the conversations that have been had, right?
Nice.
So kind
Nice.
of
Yeah.
creating feeling out of, yeah, the
Yeah.
experiences, going back into it, and then yeah, yeah,
This is important. So like since we're actually talking about like right now we're going through the process of like what is a shared vision. Like we haven't actually talked about what it is, and so like there's an unspoken element of like we're seeing the same thing. I'm like, I don't know if we're seeing the same thing at all. I have no clue if we're seeing the same thing yet. So I want to
yeah.
know if we're seeing the same thing first. You know, all right,
Mm.
cool. Because there's a part of me that's like, yeah, when I say 30, some people like they interpret it like he's gonna have like a 30-person workshop for 6 hours every day and they get 30 people. Like, no, I'm like, I just want to be able to have like where I think you and I would be able to have a lot of fun, Veronica, is like, what segments can we have? And like, but I don't need to be
Yeah,
like, it's 3 p.m. It's now time for, like bullet journal segment. It could just be like, oh, Veronica's here. We're having an inside the Outliers Edge segment. Why? Because she's on the team. And so now you're gonna see what's happening inside. Oh, turns out someone else booked the time for a coaching slot. Now it's time for we have a podcast next. Now let's move into the round table like experience, right? And so I think the structure that I'm looking for with you, because like is that it's less about themed. It's like let's figure out, generally speaking,
okay,
what the segments could be, and like how, like what the run of each segment is, knowing that I won't know what the segment is. Like I see people getting on my calendar and then going back and saying like, all right, do you want to do coaching all throughout the day? Or like actually you want the last 3 hours to be like podcast conversations? Like we can put it on the calendar so that people are actually signing up for a time to come live. Right, because that part worked. If it's like, hey, you
okay,
signed up, you get reminders, you know in advance when you're coming. I can fill out my live days, multiple days in advance, multiple weeks in advance. I was when I was doing this too much, like I had too many people coming through. I was a month
mm,
ahead on 100 people a week. I was in September, and like we were booked through mid October. You know, and so like I think like that's how I'm thinking about it. Like what are the ways that this has worked? How do I expand the number of, not just the number of conversations, but the types of conversations? How do I make it so I'm not just interviewing people each time? That's one type. How do I make it so I can jam with people who are like my peers and be like, so tell me, what are you thinking? What are you building? How do we have this conversation in a way that lets you like not have to be prim proper? The recording's on, people are watching you. So I have to come off as if I know everything that I'm saying. I'm like, well, that's not the edge. Like, what are we doing? Like, that's just you in the middle. Like, I don't need that part. I don't need the polish. I need the edge. I need the edginess. I need the grit. What's the part that's hard?
Hmm.
You know? Does that help, by the way, in terms of like where I'm like, oh, this is where I can use like some thoughts and like and some confidence, honestly. Like I have to like this is where I need to be courageous. I want clarity so I can feel like I know what I'm being courageous toward, so that I can
Okay.
then be like, oh, I'm super confident around it. And then like I can then go and invite people in and so on and so forth. Like this is really it scares me, Veronica. It scares me. Like everything about Outliers on the Edge scares me because I'm like, do I have the stamina for it? I mean, we've been talking for an hour and 45 minutes. I'm like, I didn't get enough water. My eyes are hurting. Do I need like like it scares me. Like there's a lot that's involved in doing this, to be honest. I think that's why I'm also like, oh, I can't get to the community right now because I'm like, I don't like I haven't built the strength to do 3 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours. Like right now, this is me actually building the strength to a 2 hour live. I haven't done it before. This is the longest live I think I've ever done.
Ooh.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is all still happening in real time. I'm still growing in real time, and so there's a and there's like you saw me in this conversation like moving our screens back and forth, right? But I'm like okay, what like how do like what is the movement to get them into the movement piece? What is that thing? Like do I like there's a bunch of logistics to just get done with like how do I have the conversation, get people onto the conversation, what kinds of conversations are we having, and how do we get them off the conversation? How do we make sure the conversation itself like goes on and lives on forever, and then they feel really great and they also want to go move into the movement afterwards. It's a lot of movement parts. And like for me, it's relatively it feels more solid and straightforward and reliable because I'm like when I'm in conversation,
Yeah.
well, we good, you know.
Is it safe to conclude? Yes, there are several strategies with streaming, but you're doing it particularly because you love it.
With streaming,
Yes, like the live coaching. Is it fair to conclude that right now you're doing it because you love it? That, like, yes, it can translate into potential coaching. Yes, there's
mm,
this other impact, because I want to make sure I'm not thinking, because what I think what I experienced with the call today is I'm
mm,
like, oh, he's doing streamings, one because he wants to share and show people what he does, but also he's looking for clients. So if my mind is like he's looking for clients, and my mind is like, how else can we get clients? Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
realizing there's a disconnect, and maybe that there isn't a goal. Maybe you're doing it because you love it, and that's is that safe to conclude?
No, I'm definitely doing it for clients. You know,
Okay.
like I don't like, but clients don't just happen. Like, listen, what I'm doing is that I'm showing myself up. I'm putting myself in a place where um I'm creating the pathways for people to go and get what they want from working with me, you know? But I'm not saying that you have to go through one path. It's like going to an amusement park. There's a bunch
Yeah.
of different rides in a bunch of different worlds, but they're not like, welcome, you have to go on ride one, and then you follow this path and you can only get this is how you get to ride 50. It's like
Oh,
if you want to get in and go immediately to ride 50 and then like go home, you can do that. You want to go in to ride 50, then 27, then you'll get some food. Like you can go do that. The whole park is always running. I'm an amusement park. Outliers Edge is an amusement park, right? And there's different rides or different things. Oh, you want to, go to our school zone, our community zone, where if you can meet with other people or come to our live zone, like this. That's how I look at these things. And I know that I'm planting the seeds and I'm nurturing people and like kind of like the marketing terms, like, and I'm doing it in a way that is not like read my PDF, go sit at home and watch me on like YouTube, take my free course, go do this 5 day challenge. I'm like, you got a 1 hour challenge. Come show up and be real live right now. You know, like how did you do that? All right, go inside the group and go share your insights from that. But I just like I do live because it makes sense. Like I do live because I can. If you don't mind me just like putting like one of those things, I'm like, I can do it. So
yeah.
why wouldn't I get credit for doing it? Like me and you would have had the same exact conversation. Same exact conversation. Maybe some differences with like how long it would have taken for us to get into it, but we'd had the same conversation, and then no one on earth would have seen it. That hour and a half would have just disappeared. Now this hour and a half is going to be able to live forever, and people are going to be able to come back in and be like, Niiamah, like why were you challenging Veronica, or like what was going, like, because I was sitting there, I'm like, am I allowed to like be like honestly selfish, where I'm like, Veronica, I think you're awesome, I think your thing's there, this is what I want to get done, this is what I want. I'm like, can I do that? This guy who's like, hey everyone, I'm on this 10K live, let's see where it is, like people are going to see a different side of me because they haven't seen me working with someone to get something done, you know and like, there's a part of me that might come off as present and aloof and naive because I just go on live. I'm like, I don't know what I want to talk about, but this is so done with such degrees of intention that I'm like, I can't have a quiz come out that categorizes you if my whole business is about how do we break down all the categories that people come in. Not to say we can't do it. We'll find a way to do it. I promise you. I have ideas, and there are ways to do it. But I think that, like, you asked me, is it because I love live streams? I'm like, it just makes sense, and it's a meta form of everything I believe, and it's a pathway for me to grow. It's a
Okay.
pathway for me, like it allows me to do a lot of the different things. And people get a chance to see, like, oh, this guy's wild and he's intense, or maybe he's not wild and intense at all. And they come in like, dude, you keep saying you're wild and intense. I've watched a lot of your live streams. You're just not. I'm like, oh, then I can drop that. Maybe I'm not, you know. But yeah, there's. You asked me if I loved it, and I was and like, there was no part of me that felt like love was coming in. It was just like, I'm like, once I realized that I could, and like I had taken care of some other things, I was like, this makes no sense to not do this. And if I'm going to do it, how much of this can I do? And if I am going to do a lot of this, how do I make sure that it ends up being that I don't like, how can I do as much of my business through this? How can I create as much overlap between client fulfillment, client creation, client marketing? How can I make all, like, as much of those things over the same exact thing? How can I get as much as I can from just doing live streams, as opposed to, nah, now to go repurpose. Now I got to go do this. Not like, even when you said the community, I was like, oh, the way I look at it is that the community's happening live. Every 3 to 5 people that are on a thing, it's a community experience. You know, like I'm doing community. There's just an asynchronous text-based version that lives on school. You know what I'm saying? And like, and then from there, there's ways to go up from there. Does that answer the question there? But like, this is I'm so keen on talking to you about this, Veronica, because this could be a waste of time unless we intentionally put in the business mechanics behind it. And so, yeah, no, this is definitely about business and impact and sustainable impact. And it's like, and I want to be able to honestly be able to say, how do I show that you can be living your impact out loud and get paid for it? You know, and like every step of the way, it's like, okay, what does it look like to try and build something like that's your vision? And like, my way of working is really like, it's different than someone who's like, I have my answer, I see what it is, I know what the goal is, I have the binders set aside, I have the spreadsheets here, I have the tabs. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm like, let's co-create. And I've been really like the problem I have is I'm like, oh, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. And I'm like, oh, well, now I have, like, it may not be the way I'm supposed to do it, but it's the way I do it. So how do I make that work? And then show people that, like, even me who's doing it in the way that you're not supposed to do it can still get it to work. Does that answer the question? Like, I love what live streams give me. I don't love live streaming.
Okay.
Does that, like, how, like, what was behind that question? Why did you ask that? Like, why was that important for you to know?
I'm trying to understand the best way I can support your vision,
Hmm.
because I feel
Okay.
like maybe ideas aren't exactly the way there. So I'm trying to see how can I most support you and make you feel like that's a load off of your shoulders. That's why I'm trying to understand what exactly is the quote unquote in business terms problem, right? yeah, that's basically why I was asking.
The problem is that very few people understand my visions. Very few people can like stay in the conversation long enough with me to extract out what it is that I'm trying to get done. I like I think that like the problem is the problem that's solved right now is, oh, Niiamah wants to get something done. He's not clueless. He's actually really well versed in what it is that's there. He's been thinking about this here, and he does it with a high level of integrity and alignment, right? So what is it that he wants to get done? What is it that he wants to get done? Like, and it's not like what could be done. It's like, what is it that he's actually trying to get done? Do I
Yeah,
understand that? Does he understand it? Or like, does he just see like the designs around it? How would he get it done? Given how he operates, given what he cares about, given where his skills are, given where his genius is, like, how would he get it done? No one else on the planet is going to get it done like Niiamah, but Niiamah is going to get it done this way. So how does he do it? Like, and how can I understand him, his vision, and so forth enough to like help him see that with clarity and give him like be like, why are you doing this thing where you're recording in advance? Niiamah, your gift is presence. How do we get you live? How do we get you to be present with someone? You know, like that's the key. The key is like there's a lot of things that I do, market business need, marketing, sales, fulfillment, you know, like operation. They need all this stuff. All right.
yeah,
The question here that like the how you help me best is like is to like really understand me, see and to see the vision of what's getting done and the pathways that I'm already trying to take, and then be like, okay, given that these are the pathways he's trying to go, how do we get this done in a way that aligns with him? And Veronica, I promise you, and this is something that I don't think people have gotten past this step with me. So they haven't really seen the next thing, which is like, and then afterwards, once I get what I want to get done, I just as long as we can keep building things in alignment, I'm so good with whatever else comes next. I'm like, there's just a baseline I need to get done. It's pretty high, you know, but it's also finite. And it's also like, it's like I know we need to have a place to live. It needs to have 2 bedrooms, a bath, a skylight, this, that, and that. I don't care what order it comes in. I don't care like where like do we go through the front door? Do we go through the back? I don't care. But like my house needs to have these things. And it needs to have like an open concept and like that's what I need to have. Architect, help me architect it, you know? And then if eventually you say something, I'm like, oh no. The skylight needs to be like in the living room. Then great, we figured out something. Because I didn't know it. I just had the ideas of a 2 bedroom house. Does that help at all? That might be really high level, but that is like I really need someone who can like see the vision, help me extract the vision, turn it and turn that vision and be like, oh, it sounds like what you're trying to do is this. And I'd be like, yes or no. And then here goes how I would adjust it. Does that help?
yeah. I think where I'm at now is you've shared your values, you've shared your big picture ideas. What you're ready to move forward with right now is the basic getting different guests on your streams. Right now, that's a priority, correct?
Yeah, definitely. Tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm like, how do I
Do
get
that.
30 people tomorrow on the streams? And then what do we do? Right. And then yeah, like I'll do what we just did. Like I'll figure something out. But I am
Yeah.
curious about like, oh, like here's some different segments I think we can do. I might do them, I may not, but gosh, it'd be cool to come in and like not have it be overly constructed, but it'd be like it's a lot. You've already kind of done this. So but it's like easy segment, live coaching. Great. Easy segment. Like behind the scenes with Niiamah. Easy segment. Like, yeah, outlier on your edge. Like what's keeping you on your edge right now? Like so on and so forth. Like and like with the idea here being Veronica, I'm not trying to put on TV yet. I think that's something that I think is gonna be like a bit like I'm just trying to be an outlier with other outliers. You know, I'm trying to create that safety and belonging to have
Mhm.
that be here. I want to be messing up all the time. I don't want to be polished. I like the fact that I'm here right before midnight in a hoodie. You know, I'm like, wow, okay. So like I can show up for anything. Similar to you, Veronica. Like you didn't know this was gonna happen. You just showed up. I tried to give it a heads up that we might go live just in case you wanted to like be live ready, you know? But like you just showed up. And like that's I want the chance to these experiences, it's not yet, it's we don't have the audience yet and the infrastructure yet to have to like make it about who's gonna watch it later yet. It's about like for the five people who are here in this one segment, for the two people here, like how do we like how do we make this the coaching? Even if I'm not coaching. You know, when you came, you said, wow, I'm noticing what I'm saying and what I'm not saying, and I'm able to be in the knowledge of that. I'm like, this is so cool because now you have this experience. And the next time you get invited to do something, you're now going to be able to draw upon this experience beforehand. And you're going to be able to trust you didn't come in with a plan, but it was still awesome because you said yes. Like these are the things I'm looking for. This is what I'm trying to be able to create. Does that make sense? And like it's like in a very real way, this is what it's like working with me. I'm just trying to create experiences to collapse time and be like, you thought that was impossible. You thought we needed to go do 3 years worth of research. You thought you needed to have all these things together. And guess what? Because I have built this platform, tomorrow, I want you to come and lead this hour when we're going to bring the members of the community to come and hear you give your keynote or give one portion of it or whatever. Like that's what I long for, to just create like just to help people live into their possibilities now. And I'm like, oh, then let me just go create what's necessary so that like you haven't been on a podcast before? Great, come on my podcast. Oh, you haven't gone something live before? Go do. Oh, great, do live. Oh, you've never worked with a producer? Let me see if Veronica has some time. You know, like that. Like, does that? I wonder what you're hearing when I say that because I don't know how to describe it, but like I know that this exists, but this is it's not the way I've ever seen business be done. At least not that I can remember. Oh, and then she had to take off right then. I think I lost her either from um, connection or internet. But for any of you, thank you all who've been watching this throughout here. It's been a journey here. I would love to see any of your thoughts here. Thank you, George, Andrea, Nidarku, Alex, George again, a different George this time. Rachel, like, thank you all for coming to be in here. I can see, just depending on the platform, I can see different people who come and join. But this was real. This was a real moment here. I'm gonna wait and make sure and see if Veronica's able to join us to wrap up. But thanks for being a part of this. It's yeah, it's challenging. Like, all right, let me share how I'm feeling inside. So part of me on the inside right now is wondering. Oh, here goes Veronica. Let me bring her back in so that she can wrap up with us. Hey again, welcome back.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you don't have to
Yeah.
apologize. Like you don't have to apologize. I was just talking, but this is again, Veronica. This is where I geek out. Like I'm literally geeking out because like then you dropped, and then I'm like, oh, now I have to figure out what do I do now, you know? And I went on. I was like, I got a chance to like name some of the people who I saw had been on the podcast. Like look at the on the live stream. Like I got to play into a little bit of the host role for a little bit. So like I don't know how to describe it, but like I know I'm growing. I know that's it, and I want to. Yeah, I described it like I want to be a harbinger of possibility, and just be like, oh yeah, you want this? Good, here, good, we got you. Good connection. I don't want to coach you about how to be ready for a live stream. I just want you to come on, and then afterwards we can talk about what was that experience like for you. Like, how would you do
Mm,
it differently? Like that's so much more valuable because you have a lived experience. And I don't know. I guess it's because my outlier experience. I'm like first generation out of Ghana. Like I didn't know. Like everything I did came from a different place than those other people, you know? And so I'm like, oh, so you don't eat this way, or you don't know this song, or like I remember hearing
yeah.
Sweet Caroline for the first time. I was 20 years old or like 18 years old in college at a frat. And
Mm,
everyone around me knew all the words. I was like I can't relate to that before that moment. And
mm,
so but now I had that experience and I'm like, I know that people go nuts about this song. And so I can put it on and I can get people to go nuts. I don't know why. I don't know the connection, but there it is. All right. So we're gonna wrap up, but I want to see what you heard because you were you've been awesome. You've been awesome trying to understand me, and I feel like evidence shows that it's hard to. I'm not one to be understood easily, and so I appreciate you doing the work to do that. It means a lot to me.
I'm happy to be a part of your process.
Mhm.
My conclusion, my takeaway, how many, was it 12,000 minutes?
10,000,
10,000?
10,000. Yeah,
10,000?
12,000. 12,000 is ridiculous. I'm only doing 10,000, you know? Yeah.
10,000 minutes before 2026. That's an achievable goal. It's a measurable goal. I think that's also worth communicating on. I'm going to, of course, bring now my producer hat, my
Yeah,
creative
please.
hat. I think we should also create separate posts. It doesn't even have to be like a super tailored or edited video, but you can just put it out there. You're doing 10,000 minutes before 2026. And I think that's an exciting thing for other people to rally behind. Let's now, I think after the call, we can have a conversation about how you find your guests. Let's just start doing it.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I mean, like the way the way I look at this is I'm going to go to sleep. I feel like my brain needs to digest here.
Yeah.
Um I don't but it's even interesting like at this point here I recognize that my guests are all around. Like finding them is not even hard. Like realistically, I'm like I don't know if I want to go and send out LinkedIn messages and things like that, but what I recognize is that like I will, especially if I find someone that's really cool, yeah, that I think is cool. But like this is what the breakthrough was for me. Like part of why I'm like, oh, I'm an inviter. It's like Veronica. I think it is one of the. I think I'm giving an incredible gift to someone that says, "Hey, you don't know me, and I don't know you, but I think you're awesome, and I'd love to feature you on my platform. You free in the next hour? You want to do something here? Like sign up here, find a time that works for you." Based on what you come in, like we can figure out what the segment's going to be. But I do my entire business live, so even when we figure it out, we're going to be figuring it out live. Like to be able to say that, Veronica, 3 hours ago, I would never have even thought that was a thing.
Mm,
I would have been like you're like, oh, after the call, we can have this other call. I'm like, no, we're gonna just like if we're gonna talk about it, it's gonna be live probably. Like, what does that look like? Like, I haven't seen that business before, you know. And I'm not trying to do it to do it differently, but I'm like, I'm doing it to see like how much out there, how much I believe in myself, you
yeah.
know, like like it's not to be different, but I'm like, I really don't care, but do I? And what if I didn't look like that? Oof. So that's what's I appreciate you. I I've been conditioned to believe that I'm a lot, you know, and so it means a lot to me that you in a multi-hour conversation where this kind of popped up on your calendar, in a live format where people are watching now and in the future, and we're trying to figure things out and moving through messiness, you know, and like you're here, you're engaged, you're fully in. I want to make sure I reflect that in there. Um, there's more going on than just like the work that we're doing. It's also the element of like, oh, Niiamah, you make sense, or ooh, you got to work on this other part, or you know what, Niiamah, like it turns out you don't care. Like people don't like you're doing this. You're so convicted toward this that like Veronica brought up a lot of other really great opportunities and other options. And you're like, but we're doing this. And so like know that you know that self trust, believe in that. When
Mm,
you come tomorrow and you're like, I don't know what to do. Right. So yeah, I think to your thing, yes, it's how do we get it's not it's like where do we find the 30, but it's to me it's almost more like what's the process of when like if I want to invite someone tomorrow or today or now, what is their
okay.
process of getting on? Like like I could literally go on Instagram, type in a random letter, and then just be like, "Do you want to come on the podcast?" I do not care. Like like I don't like I'm not like I need to go find like the top of the top of the top. We'll have lists and things that we go from, but I'm like I don't that's not the finding people is not the issue. The real and like the free group allows me to be able to spend time with people and not have them have to become clients right away, you know. And you're finding me, Veronica, also at a time where I'm trying to figure out, is it about working with entrepreneurs or working with business owners or business leaders or whatever it is, or is it about working like to help people go from being an outsider to an outlier? And that's anyone of any different levels. And like to have like a free group and a $99 group, or I'd make a 5 month buy, get 5 months, get the whole 12 years. Sorry, if you get a full year for only 5 months. So instead of it being, it's $4.99 if you end up getting a year with us, right? I needed to
Mm.
practice saying that. Like you saw how I stumbled over that like multiple times. I'm like, I need a place to practice that so that when I talk to a client about it, it actually comes out easily.
Mm.
So I think I'm gonna go to bed, but I think the question is, hey, tomorrow Niiamah's gonna have some time. Like, who would he reach out to? What might that invitation look like? Like, how do you invite them into Outliers on the Edge overall? You know, um, what might their pushback be? Like, and not even what their pushback. There's typically 5 ways people respond. Yes,
Okay.
no. Can you send me more information? Not
Mm-hmm.
the right time, or like I'm not the right person, or unsubscribe, like don't ever talk to me again. you know like that's generally how they respond. And so like for me and my decision tree things, you'll see this with the emails we had automated for the cold outreach. It was just like, depending on what kind of response they have, I have my own response to come back. Oh great, click here to go and sign up for a time that works for you, or so on and so forth. Like that's why I want to figure that out,
Okay.
because I know 30 people. I could reach out to pick up my phone and just call up people that have been in my life and be like, would you want to do this? I'm testing something out. And tomorrow I
Mm.
could try this. So this doesn't, like, over time we'll refine it. And that's me. Like I have to learn through a lot of repetition, not repetitions, iterations. Repetitions doing the same thing over and over again. Iterations is improving. Um,
Okay.
but I think that would be it. It's like, how do we make this thing live? Anyone wants to go live? How do we do this? You know? And like, what do they need to do? And know that, like, I would like for them to be able to sign up somewhere to be able to then come live, rather than me just giving them the link to come and join us.
Yeah.
Right? Then they come onto the email list, they get the email follow up, they get there, and then like I can fulfill the live. Like this is what I learned with the podcast. You can fulfill. Are you good, by the way? If I wrap up with I'm like, I need to actually end this because I keep accidentally extending it. but like what I found from the podcast is that the way that worked was that when people came to the podcast, I had to fulfill on the podcast, only on the podcast. It was not, I'm going to try and make you a client, or I'm going to try and like bait and switch you into something. It's like, you showed up for the podcast. I have to do the podcast, and then I have to go do more to have you come and be a client of mine. Come into a coaching session, now come into this experience, so on
Mm.
and so forth. So like when people sign on the podcast, I have emails, I have text messages, I have all these other things going out to them to help them, not like, one, be prepared for the podcast conversation itself, but two, be able to make the journey into where my actual client creation process was, and then moving those people through that. And essentially I just didn't have the bandwidth to figure out what that would look like for the community. And so they got to the community, and then everything just went because there was nothing else to do. So they just showed up on the podcast and they showed up for coaching. And those are the only two things that were ready to go. And that's why
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I need something to like be able to nurture them beyond. Come onto the live. Okay, we have the live going. All right, now let's go to the community. The community's going to be feeding into the live. The live's going to feed into the community. Okay, I feel good about this. Now, when I meet someone, it doesn't have to die off unless I'm giving them a one-on-one part of my attention, which is what I did for the last 2 years. And I'm glad I did it. I learned a ton. But now it's like, no, the world gets me again. Does that help at all, Veronica? It is super helpful for me to understand to hear back from you what you get about what I said, because then I learned
Yeah.
how to say it.
Yeah. I feel I have a direction now. And I think that for me was the biggest thing. I needed to understand what it is you need from me, what's helpful for you. So I feel good about where we're summing up.
Okay. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Let me know if anything changes. If you like, I don't feel good about this at any point, send me a message. Let me know about it. Do you mind if we end our conversation here with you sharing a bit about your experience coming on live, and like talking about it from that perspective? Did I lose you? I might have lost Veronica here. It would be awesome to just get. Okay, hey, you're still here. Yes. Uh,
Oh,
if you have
yeah.
2 minutes, would you mind? God, I think
If I
we're
have
back
two
in the
minutes,
same time. If you have 2 minutes,
huh?
would you mind like letting us know some of your insights around like the experience of coming on live? Like I'm really
Yeah,
curious about that. We have our work that we can do from a team perspective, but like in terms of
yeah.
the live portion of it, what got you? What are you seeing?
Uh, I think the first is
Oh, I got to keep
self.
going, keep thinking, but like I'm asking
Yeah.
this for you, so not about like the live experience overall, like not feedback for me, but like really about
Okay.
like what are some of the insights you got as a result of saying yes to coming on to live here? I'm really curious about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I've gained today from going live for the first time, never gone live before.
Mm.
Uh, One was just developing. Oh gosh, it's going again.
I I can
Back.
I can hear you a bit. Hold on. Yeah, you're coming in. It's not as clear. It's not the video's not as clear, but we can hear you audio wise.
Yeah, I'll definitely work from a different space because the internet has got you today. What I feel like what I've gained from coming live for the first time today, one was that I can trust myself even if I don't have a plan. And like even before you invited me, I remember I told you, okay, well, I haven't had a chance to prepare anything. Is that okay for you? And I think being able to feel like I am valuable even though I don't have a specific plan. Secondly was also the value of not having a goal. I usually have to have a goal for everything. Like, what's my goal today? Oh, my goal is I want to have this, and I didn't have a goal today, and still feeling like it was a valuable experience. I think, yeah, for me, those are my takeaways.
Nice, nice. Veronica, I really appreciate you. And it's funny because it's like if you had asked me to write down what I thought Veronica took away from today's conversation, it would not have been those two things. It would
Oh,
not have been those two things, right? And I think
okay.
that gives you a bit of insight as to like also like how and why I play the game this way, where I realized like
Mm-hmm.
actually it's not my job to get them to a specific response. Like we're all on our own journey. My job is to create a container or an experience for them to be able to have that insight. Like that's it. What that insight is, that's not me. Other people, that might be their job. Like they're like, I want to teach you how to feel this thing. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I do know that you're going to get something by saying yes to one of the invitations that I give out here. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wacky. It should help you move. It should help you grow. I just don't know how, you know, but that's not my job to dictate
Mm-hmm.
that for you. My
Yeah.
job is to give you my opportunity is to give you a chance to experience yourself as you've never experienced yourself before, or to remind yourself of who you actually are. And that
Yeah.
is the whole game all day, every day. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you playing. I'm glad that this ended up being something for you. Outliers, you can go ahead. We're going to end every single conversation. Get used to this here. Go ahead and leave your biggest insight from today's conversation in the chat. And then Veronica was bringing this up earlier in the conversation. Like we do the community live, but we also have the Outliers Edge like space together, and so you can just go ahead and join the movement. Use your phone, pull up your phone, use the QR code. I think it's so cool that that's available. Just use your QR code and use that to come in, join us in the movement. You can start with us for free. No, and we can just grow on from there together. All right, cool. Oh, just so you know, I didn't know this, but I got a notification now if someone scans the QR code. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I know when it happens. I don't know who does it, but I know that it
Mm.
happens. So that's awesome. All right, outliers. Until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.